Welcome to Both Down, episode 69, the number one Blood Bowl podcast
that likes everything down under.
Bum, bum, bum. I am Scott Prime, and with me is Steve Kilowoggy Campbell.
Hola.
How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. How's it going?
It's going great.
Apparently it is, because just to let everybody know, this is the first time in 69 episodes, at least, we got the opening right on the first time.
That was one take, folks.
That was amazing.
I almost messed it up and did the "you're listening to" thing.
Scott always thinks we're 3-die block.
Right. That is the very first time ever in recording that we got it on the first one.
It probably helps that it's a holiday and we're recording in the middle of the day.
And I just had some Waffle House.
That'll help. Waffle House makes everything better.
Oh, peanut butter waffle.
I've not had one.
It's pretty delicious.
Is it all peanut butter or is it peanut butter on top?
It's peanut butter chips on top, so when it gets
okay.
As they melt,
I was just going to say, it'd be kind of neat, then you could put chocolate chips in it. Peanut butter and chocolate chip.
They have chocolate chip waffles, too.
Yeah, I've had those before. Not a fan.
It was one of those rare times that I felt like eating a waffle. It's about once a year, so I'm good for a while.
Makes sense.
So how's your Blood Bowl playing going?
Did I talk about my win and fumble?
I don't think so.
I beat Jeffro.
That's pretty awesome.
I got another win.
A forfeit?
Just today. Yeah, just today I got a forfeit win.
Hey,
that's 2 wins.
That's awesome,
That's
dude.
all I wanted. I wanted 1 win in my fumble league, and I got 2.
Man, you doubled your goals.
I have 1 game to go against Stymie.
Oh, well, that's another loss.
That's a loss.
So your season's almost done?
Yeah, just 1 more.
So 2-12. That's not too bad.
No. It's not good, but...
You going to play again?
Yeah. And drafting will be a lot better this time.
Okay.
Because at least I'll know what I'm doing.
And we started the store league up again.
Yeah, season 2 is underway.
And
I'm taking Nurgle this season.
And that's
the Rotted Tooth.
And that's going okay.
I have played 2 teams where I cannot take a rotter if I kill anybody, which is really annoying.
Let me guess, have you killed people?
However, I haven't killed a single person, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay. Well.
No, my rotters are horrible. They explode on touch. I had 2...
Isn't that what they want to do, though? Don't they want to get disease so much that they blow up?
I don't know. Sure, we'll go with that because we're doing that.
Okay.
My first game, I got like 4 injuries and 1 death. So then they came back, and I had 3 journeymen that game. And then the third game, I had 2 of my guys back. One had -1 movement, and one had niggling. They just straight up died. Like the first time they got hit, they're like, well, whoever sewed us back together didn't do a good job. And poof, crumble. Both dead.
Well, that's what you get with decay.
Yeah, so I'm going into my next game with 4 journeymen.
I might be with you on that because my first game of this season...
With elves.
With my pro elves, I brought them back. I beat the guy who finished second last year, 2-0.
Yeah.
And then I played an orc team who I've beaten twice the season previous, and I got beat 3-1. And good gravy, I could have got beat by a lot more.
It's an orc team with all mighty blows, right?
Pretty much.
Like he's just going to hurt people.
So the game went like this. I received. I dodged away everybody. He got his 1 blitz. Knocks him off the field. Same, he'd base everybody. Same thing happened for like 4 turns in a row. And finally, I did the 1 reroll 1 thing on 1 thing, which means he was all next to my other guys, and he just started blowing them off the field even quicker. And, yeah, it was really bad. I think I ended the game with 4 people on the field.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's bad. So I got whooped. I think he said he's like, that's my first win in the league or something like that. And I'm like, thanks, bud.
Well, congrats. Yeah. Went to Buccaneer Bowl up in Kansas.
Yep.
It's played on the ship. That's how the rules are, so it can sway back and forth.
Aren't we going to talk more about that on the next episode?
Want to save it for then?
I thought that's what I thought that was the original plan.
Oh yeah, we can. Well, I'm sure I'll have plenty to talk about for Amorical
So,
Cup 2. So
what we've had happen since we've last podcast is the new Death Zone book is out. The goblins are out.
Death Zone 2, Goblins, and
A lot of star players were released or previewed through Forge World.
we had Warhammer Fest, which just wrapped this weekend. So, quick rundown of stuff we saw at Warhammer Fest, and I'm probably going to get some of this wrong.
For sure. So,
New Glart model
definitely.
from the book Glart Smash Rip, not Glart Smash Rip Jr. We had Pro Elves, where Elf Union is the next team to come.
Right. And everybody who's seen the model who says, that's Valen Swift. That's not Valen Swift. That's just like a Pro Elf Blitzer or something.
We're going to get more dice, more pitches.
Grim Ironjaw.
He's already out. Hasn't he been?
I didn't see a picture of him before.
Oh, okay.
So, or if I did, I don't remember it.
Okay,
so.
yeah. Him. What else do we have?
The guy with two heads, is that Hackflim?
Hackflim's been out for a while.
Okay. The Goblin Weapons.
Goblin Weapons.
Seen some of those painted.
They're going to be doing 4-packs, blister packs of humans and Skaven.
Let's talk about that real quick. If you're a regular listener, this episode we're just going to go straight through. So I thought I'd just tell you that right now.
Yeah, this episode is going to be us discussing Death Zone 2. So we're just going to go from cover to cover in order.
Right. Our normal format is, we have 3 different parts and we have shout outs and all this stuff. So we're just talking today. So
We'll still do shout outs.
Okay. Good.
Just saying.
I can't wait to say it.
I know.
So the booster packs.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which is what we wanted for a while.
We did. But correct me if I'm wrong. The Skaven team was missing 2 linemen and 2 gutter runners. Correct?
I believe so.
And we're getting a thrower, 2 gutter runners, and a blitzer?
I guess.
I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm glad we have booster packs. But
maybe I didn't really see the breakdown. So if you're saying that, you're probably right. I'm sure it's a thrower and 2 gutter runners.
One
That's
of
really
whom
all that matters.
Is a lineman about to throw the ball, or it's a thrower?
It's probably a thrower.
There's definitely 2 gutter runners in there.
Yeah. And you can have 2 throwers on the team, so that makes sense.
But 2 come in the box.
Yeah. Oh, the throwers?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because...
That's a good point.
See, I second guessed myself because I was like, oh, I guess the only 1 thrower comes in the box. And I was like, no, if you buy 2 boxes, you had enough Skaven.
Oh, wait. How many?
For the Underworld team.
I was just going to say, what does it take for Underworld?
2 blitzers, 2 throwers, 2 linemen.
Okay, so there you go.
So,
I mean, I guess that's what it's for, just to have extra for that.
Okay.
Or for Chaos Pact. Or
Okay, that's
Chaos
fine.
Renegades. Or
I'll
whatever they
accept
are.
that then.
So I can see that.
You buy 2 boosters and you can make a Underworld team
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay. Fair enough.
What else?
What was the other booster? You said Skaven.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a human one. I think they're doing an orc one. So I think they're doing boosters for teams now. I'm not positive.
Okay.
And this was just based off a presentation. GW hasn't had like an official press release saying, we're going to be doing these, because they're never going to say that.
Didn't you tell me that something exceeded expectations, so more things are...
I read it from one person, and I couldn't find it again, so this might be wrong. But supposedly, Blood Bowl had a set number limit of, by the end of the year, we want to hit X number. And they surpassed it at launch. So it seems like GW then went, oh, well, okay, we need to start pumping out products. So they're going to, I believe from now on, everything's going to be done in plastic through GW. They're going to be moving away from the Forge World model to GW, which would be good.
That's awesome.
But if you talk to most GW stores, they have no clue. So I think this is going to be like for local game stores instead of GW stores, since that's where you typically see leagues and tournaments.
I thought I read that somebody said Blood Bowl's doing so well that they're hiring 2 new employees to help run the line.
Yeah, they did that. Was it sculptors or?
I don't know.
I saw that too.
So don't quote me on that either.
It just happened. We haven't reviewed it, and so...
We're full of a lot of just like random information.
Yeah. If you want facts, don't come to us. We are opinion.
There's some things we are very factual about, like Like the scatter template.
Don't even bring that up.
Why?
Okay. The scatter template is made a very specific way. If you saw the thread on Facebook that had 300 posts on this, I'm sure you're very aware of my opinion. And it's not an opinion, it's fact. The two should face a cardinal direction in reference to the board.
And if you don't know what a cardinal direction is, that means it's going to either face the sidelines.
Yeah, it's north, south, east, or west. So it should face a what do I want? Edge of the board. An edge of the board.
Right. It's either the two is either going to face a sideline or face an end zone.
Yes. Period. That's how it works.
And
there's nothing else.
Right.
Now, it's hilarious because all these people were on that thread. And I will say, for the most part, everybody understands what I'm saying. Everybody agrees. And I'm saying it because I've seen multiple people who do really cool-looking custom pitches or custom dice towers or something with a scatter template, and they have the two pointing north or whichever way.
Not north.
Cardinal direction.
They have...
whichever way. I'm saying... So they're using the one as the indicator for up and down, or whatever you want to say.
Right.
So I was wanting to point that out because it's just wrong. Period. So all these people...
And we get, you're sitting at home probably thinking...
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But they did design it a certain way. They did it back in 2nd edition, 3rd edition. I didn't play 1st edition. I'm sure there was a scatter template there that did something very similar.
I didn't look, but yeah. And before, it's always been in a square, so there was no way it would be off kilter.
Correct. So,
now it's freeform, and you can do it how you want. But some people found in the book a picture of them using it incorrectly, and they all jumped my case. They're like, oh, well, look. The book has it, so you're saying the book is wrong, so I guess the developers wanted it that way. I was just like, oh, I'm going to kill all these people. So I go to talk to Andy Hoare, the product... Was he the Specialist Games head chief?
Or something like that, yeah.
He's the guy in charge of Specialist Games,
right.
Which is in charge of Blood Bowl. So I go to message him on Facebook, and I look, and I'm like, wait a minute. What's that picture? So I look at his profile picture, and it's the image I was using in the thread to explain stuff.
Which was the old template, the new template on top of the old template,
right.
To show everybody this is the proper way to use it.
Yeah. So... I just messaged him. I'm like, dude, you're killing me. That's amazing. So Scott took a picture of it and sent it to the community and was like, look, well, I guess the games designer wanted to chip in. Now, I don't speak for Andy, and I don't speak for Games Workshop.
And Andy didn't say anything.
He did not
just changed
tell
his
me
profile
yes,
picture.
no, or anything. I'm never going to say what, that he backed this up. But come on, people. It was so gratifying, though.
And to be fair, people, I don't know if it does matter because it is random. But
it matters.
It was designed a certain way.
It matters to me because
I agree with you. It's an aesthetic thing. So,
and also, I've had arguments with people before when this is something you can't bring up on Facebook because no one's going to listen. But you guys are stuck, so you're going to listen. I've had games where I had it set a certain way, or someone did, and then you roll, and they just move it like on a kickoff without looking at the scatter template, and then we play, and then we look, and I'm like, wait, they have it set up wrong, so actually it should be this way. And then if I say something, then I'm being a dick because, oh, well, you're just saying that because it benefits you. I'm go, no, but I just want things to be right.
Right.
So...
All right, we can move on from that discussion. I just had to bring that up because it went so much.
It was
so long.
And then, of course, after you posted that photo, everybody shut up.
It was
every
amazing.
Single person.
It was like a mob of people with pitchforks and knives came, burn the witch, burn the witch. And then all of a sudden somebody just walked by with a sign that said, it's not a witch. And then it was just crickets. It was amazing. Not one person goes, well... It's still random, but I guess you're right.
Right. Never got that.
I don't think it really matters, but I guess you're right. That is the intent on how they designed it.
That's all I wanted. And then I had some people like, well, I guess this pitch isn't valid. And they showed me a picture, and I'm like, no, that's fine because the two is facing towards a sideline. Oh, the nitpickiness.
Good times.
Absolutely.
Good times.
So anything else we want to talk about?
No.
I'm going to Amorical Cup at the end of this week.
So
hopefully this episode's out before then.
And in 2 weeks, I guess, from today, the day we're recording, I'll be driving back from Iowa, going to 3 Die Brawl. So we probably will be very tournament heavy.
Yeah, so this episode we're going to do Death Zone 2. Next episode's probably just going to be talking about tournaments completely.
Our adventures at Amorical Cup and at 3 Die Brawl, and who knows what else. Now
I would love to go to 3 Die Brawl, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. And I'm not even going to suggest it until I see how much this weekend wipes me out.
Dude, you're going to be wiped out.
I'm sure. And I'm probably not going to want to be around people.
I have a feeling it's going to be more, you're going to be more wiped out than a Chaos Cup weekend. And Chaos Cup weekends are pretty busy because you're traveling longer.
Yeah, that's very true.
So,
and dealing with a lot of new people.
Well, there's going to be a ton of people there. I mean, it's going to be a Chaos Cup type feel, but I'm just saying the more travel, more in the car. You're not driving back one day and then having a day recover.
Yeah.
You're going to be driving 2 days back and
then go back to work for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then either that Friday I would have to take off again to go and drive up to Iowa. But it'll probably depend on Michael. If Michael goes, I can probably make a trip up to Tulsa and then hitch a ride. But
that's cool.
I don't see it happening.
Well, we'll see. We'll report back some awesome results. And we just save.
I'll miss seeing Chance and Drew, but
I said we save your adventures from Buccaneer Bowl for that episode.
Yeah.
We'll just do it all about all these, especially since all the tournaments are radically different in play styles and rules and
very
stuff.
Different.
So that should be interesting. But let's get into this Death Zone Season 2 because I was working the shop yesterday and I had a couple people ask me like my opinions, and I just had to say, listen to the next podcast because we're going to record tomorrow.
It's coming soon.
So where you want to start? You want to just start from the beginning here?
Well, let's take a break and then we'll come back and get into it.
All right, I'm ready.
Do you like Blood Bowl? Well, you're listening to this, so probably yes. How about Magic? How about board games? How about just a random assortment of dice or comic books? If you're in or near the Norman, Oklahoma area, come on down to Wizard Asylum, or check them out online at wizardsasylum.com or on Facebook at Wizards Asylum.
Okay, so busting open Death Zone Season 2.
Yay!
On the cover, we have Scrappa Sorehead, and you can tell that because he has a sore on his head. We'll get into that more later.
Oh, that's like foreshadowing, or
it's also just the facts. I mean, he has a sore on his head. And that's the guy on the cover.
This could be any goblin.
Okay, well, moving on.
I honestly didn't even think about him being Scrappa Sorehead. But now I get it. I get it.
Inside cover, we've got painted models like they used to do in the old days.
So I love this.
That's really cool. It's even got Grack the Great, Master of the High Kick, and Cannonball Crumbleberry, the living projectile, which are not in the book.
That's okay.
Doesn't bother you?
I don't know how I feel about them. I don't feel like I've accepted that they're going to do things like they did in the old White Dwarf, that if you want to play with them, you can.
Yeah. I get that.
I don't really recognize that these are part of Blood Bowl. They are, but they're not. So like if you collected them, that's cool.
I would be okay with that reasoning if they were not in the book. They're in the book. There's no reference to them elsewhere in the book. Like, if you would like to purchase these, you can get them from the Warhammer store.
Sure. Or there should be a little explosion next to both of these, like a little blurb that says exclusively only at...
Exactly. There should be something indicating that.
I get that part. So,
because I try to look at stuff from the people who are just picking up off the shelf. we know everything because we're on
That's
Facebook,
true.
we're involved in everything. But the guys off the shelf, they look at that, they're like, oh, that's cool. How do I get that? Or why are they not in this book? Because this book is supposed to have everything you need.
Sure.
Not so
Okay.
much.
I wouldn't mind to see a few more other players. Like in the old books, they had another, like a human lineman with a different paint kit or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Color scheme, so you could go like, oh, that's a Middenheim Marauder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how he's painted. Or here's an Albion Wanderer. I like those. I don't know if I ever want to see any more humans or orcs painted, but at the same time, I like seeing the different like paint styles.
Yeah,
and
same here.
kits. So
And the different colors and everything.
yeah, so I get what you're saying though. You're right. Probably Grack and Crumpleberry should have been some type of like you said, exclusive at the Warhammer store or whatever. But,
Yeah, just my 2 cents.
or these other ones probably should have said. Now that we're nitpicking this, I didn't even think about this. All these are through Forge World.
Yeah,
There's nothing to tell you go to forgeworld.com to get these.
not at all. And it's not like you can order them at your local retailer where you bought the book.
Well, maybe that's going to change.
It might. And
That would be awesome.
if that is the case, great. Because I don't want to pay Forge World prices. I don't care about resin versus plastic. Hell, I'm not even taking them out of the package. So they're using the second ed, well, I guess third ed, Bob and Jim.
Yep, the old artwork.
I was going through old White Dwarfs and saw the original Bob and Jim. Remember them?
The announcer people that were just like the clone people.
Yeah, they're like clones of each other.
Right, because all TV announcers are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Old Pete
it's
Nifton stuff.
something they tried way back then.
Yeah, in White Dwarf 101, they have a artist spotlight on Pete Nifton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd like to borrow that.
It's pretty neat. All right, so what are we going to next?
Table of contents. You get your first taste of, it's very, very small print, that there's some forgeworld.com at the very bottom. Do you see that? It's really
Oh,
tiny.
wow, yeah.
So you have the table of contents, and then it goes right into the new star players, or what they are calling the new star players to the new fans of Blood Bowl.
Right.
So first up is Barak Farblast.
So the cool thing is, with each of these star players, we're getting a nice fluff background, or to satisfy some people who don't like the term fluff. What is
Right,
it?
because you
Background character.
you pick fluff from your belly button,
Yeah.
and then what was
No
it?
disrespect to anybody who doesn't like the term fluff, which is not calling it anything else. I mean, it's not a demeaning
What was the real term he wanted to call it? Creative design.
background information. I don't know.
Okay.
There's not a better way of saying it. It's fluff.
Okay.
It doesn't lessen the product.
I
It's
guess
just,
that comes from some deal way back when that people would whine and like demean. They just did that for fluff reasons and
right.
the old 40K or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I've always heard it in a positive term my entire life.
Yeah, same here.
So
Yeah, that's why
I
we
guess
do the
it's just
podcast.
wherever you come from. So anyways, so as we go over these star players, I'm going to sound like I have a ton of complaints or like things that
Which
don't
means he has a ton of complaints.
No, I want to state that I'm just basing this off of previous Blood Bowl knowledge.
Right.
I've almost accepted that this Blood Bowl universe is just another separate timeline.
Yeah.
In my brain, we're not in the year 2517 for this Chaos Cup. Just this is how Star Trek got rebooted. We went back in time. We have a new Kirk and all that. I'm almost accepted that. Fine, if that's what they wanted to do, just come out and say it, and I'll accept it.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to say that I may have spoken to inside sources, but I would not say specifically who, and I will not say what they said. But I get the understanding that the time was rolled back so they had more freedom to do things that they wanted to do. We would love for Games Workshop to just come out in some official capacity and say, hey, everybody, we've decided to set the time back to X. And this is why, so that we can do this in the future. but there's not a cohesive overall narrative that they stick to. And someone suggested that the reason they went back is due to the old rules and a lot of head fluff that people do, head canon, and the games and the video game and the card game and the novels and the short stories, etc., etc., etc. You have all these people putting ideas forward that are technically under the umbrella of GW. But since they don't really have an overall Bible to it that they stick to, and a Bible is like in a comic or a TV show where all the facts are laid out so that you have a reference to go back to. Mm-hmm. Since GW doesn't have that, they decided it was better to go back in time some and just do what they want. So they're never going to come out and say that's what they're doing.
And that's what I would like them to come out.
Doing.
I mean, most of us have read enough comic books where stuff gets reset and we just accept it. Or like, this is what was the Marvel universe? The Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
And we've accepted that. Like, oh, Spider-Man's different or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I can accept this. I'm still going to point out what I think are things they missed or maybe made a mistake or what was different back then. But the more and more, I'm just kind of accepting that this is another tangent Blood Bowl universe. Also, so I can enjoy it more instead of being a neckbeard who's worried about it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to point out stuff. I don't mean it to sound... I know, but there's been a lot of people lately who's like, everybody's complaining about stuff. No, I really appreciate it. Overall, no matter what I say going forward, I'm pretty happy by this book.
And the people involved are very... They are very closely looking at the information they put out, and they want it to be as accurate as possible. But due to editing and just mistakes that happen, things happen. So and we'll get to that. They can actually address that in a future volume through little side blurbs or something. But it's not like they're going to come out in the errata and say, well, we messed up here. Right. Speaking of, the first mess up we have.
All right, so we have Beric Farblast. We get a little origin story about him. We get a player profile that explains like some career highlights and stuff. And then, of course, we get his stats. I didn't see anything in his stats that's changed.
I didn't really go over everything, but no, nothing looked different.
So the one thing that I found a big glaring problem is later in the book, we have some teams of like legendary famous teams, Hall of Fame teams, where they give you a roster.
And background information.
And they say that the Grudge Bears formed in 2492, which made this Hall of Fame team crazy since it was their first year in existence. Well, right off the bat, in career highlights, Beric Farblast, what year did they say? In 2459, which is like 30-some years earlier, it talks about how he played for the Grudge Bears. Mm-hmm. Even his player profile says, originating team, the Grudge Bears.
Yeah.
It should be the Dwarf Warhammerers from second edition. They were known as the dwarves that used all sorts of machinery and death rollers and chainsaws, all that stuff. They were kind of like the goblin version of a dwarf team. They used bombs. If you go back to second edition, there's a picture of the Molnar brothers, which is the three dwarves that are all like, one has a chainsaw, one has a bomb, and I think one's grabbing at you or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they're crazy dwarves that love weapons.
And according to the official GW source, that is correct.
Okay.
It should be the Warhammerers.
So they just missed it in editing, or
the editor who is editing the book is not as finely tuned to the Blood Bowl universe as the people who are writing it, so when something slips through, they don't catch it. Okay. They're looking for spelling and grammatical errors.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, that snuck through. It might be updated in the future, but doubt it.
Once again, I read enough comics that I can think that the Grudge Bears were around and they got erased from history some reason, and everybody didn't think they reappeared until 2492.
Sure.
Whatever. Overall, though, it was a really cool little profile. So, next up is Glart Smash Rip. Not
Not
Glart Rip.
Glart
Glart
Smash Rip.
Smash Rip Jr. This is Glart Smash Rip from, I believe, first edition. If
There
this were-
was an obese rat in the... Was it first ed?
It was first ed. It wasn't second ed.
In the first White Dwarf?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I don't have it, but I believe Glart Smash Rip, the big fat rat, is really from first edition,
Okay. And really, it was just a rat with the obese mutation, right?
from what I understand, yes.
Okay.
And then in second edition, there was a mutation called obese,
Mm-hmm.
where you couldn't go for it, and
You got extra
which was
strength
called
or something?
sprint back then. Yeah, you got like I believe a strength +2 and maybe some armor.
Oh, stand firm?
No, there wasn't. No, there's no
Oh,
stand
okay.
for him. So it wasn't that. It was definitely you were fatter though. Maybe you lost movement too. Maybe that's what
Oh,
it
I
was.
think-
You lost
yeah.
movement. You lost your ability to sprint because that wasn't a skill. That was a number. And then you got some strength. It was a pretty awesome mutation. This was pretty cool. Not too many glaring errors. And I might have read, I swear I read this a couple times. It talks about he ate a ref and he got in trouble. And then in his profile, it
Yeah.
talks that he ate 13 refs before he got in trouble
That
or
was
something.
In the background, it talks about how he was barred from the NAF for eating an official. So that was a very big sticking point of the background information. It's very cool. But since he was so good, they brought him back as a journeyman star player type. So that's why he's a star player now, is that he was banned before.
Sure.
But in the breakdown of everything on his career totals, it does list 13 officials eaten.
So I don't know.
So maybe he ate 12 after
Okay.
he was, but I don't.
Okay. Very minor.
It's a minor, but it's if we're nitpicking, that's one of them.
He
But
is
the character himself, why does he have claw? I'm just going off of the model.
Let's talk about that for a second because
The old one has claw. Junior, right?
Junior has claw. The Junior is a blitzer, like a Skaven blitzer with a strength +1, claw, and I think Juggernaut.
So he's a little different than this,
A little bit different than this,
but not much.
right?
And he's
This
a
one-
lot more expensive, right?
Right. He's 210.
Is that all?
Yes, he's only
Oh, okay,
210.
so he's not that much more expensive.
This Glart Smash Rip is he can play for Skaven and Underworld teams just like the old one. He's 190. He has 5 movement instead of 7, 4 strength, 2 agility, 9 armor.
8 armor.
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right, 8 armor. But yeah, he has claw.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
Is it because he's eating people? Is that the justification?
In my head, every time I hear claw in a Skaven, I think of that old third ed miniature
Right.
with a
The
big crab
claw.
claw. And I think I need to accept that they just have long fingernail claws. And then it doesn't bother me as much. Because later in the book, when we look at an old Underworld team, they have Split Tendon Cutter, who's a second edition star player. He never had anything claw or mighty blow or anything like that, but they gave him claw again. So it's like a default skill. But I'm accepting that it's not a crab claw.
Right.
And he has long claws. And the new miniature shows him having kind of longer claws than...
Oh, does it? I guess I didn't see that part.
It's not like way outrageous
Yeah.
claws, but it's definitely like if that guy hits you, he's going to claw you just like a rat ogre would.
Okay. I was just thinking he was cutting people open and eating them,
Oh.
which might be the same thing.
His background was really cool. It even gave lots of references unofficially to Glart Smash Rip Jr., saying that he has supposedly lots of children who've taken up his namesake, or,
Yeah.
or possibly children, or other just players that taken up his namesake. So they basically gave a head nod to Glart Smash Rip Jr. without talking about Glart Smash Rip Jr.
So let's get into this. This is essentially a replacement or a redo of Glart Smash Rip Jr.
Correct.
And we'll see that coming up a couple more times where they're just redoing old star players.
That's what it feels like. Now,
And they are. I mean,
I know
people
some
can say
have
that they're
said-
coming from different angles, but they're not.
Right.
I mean, they're way too similar to not be just
Sure.
remake.
But they're officially never going to say, like, yeah, this is a copy. We like this guy better than the other.
Right.
But we're not going to take the other guy away because we don't want people to be mad or
There's
whatever.
nothing for GW to take away because those don't exist to them. This is my issue when it comes to the NAF and tournaments. Skaven or Underworld teams don't need access to Glart and Glart Jr.
Oh, that's going to be awesome when it happens.
And that's even more prevalent when we get to the next guy, Creek Rust Gouger, the Verminator.
So Creek Rust Gouger is basically a cybernetic version of what we used to have as Fez Glitch
Yeah.
in the CRP rules.
I don't like him being cybernetic. I don't like him being a knockoff of the Terminator.
I
It bothers me.
I think they could have used this type of background and story with something else that was not a ball and chain.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm
if
okay
this
with
was
ball
a
and chain,
chainsaw,
but-
if this was a chainsaw rat, that'd been so
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like a rat that could run
Ooh.
7 and then hit you with a chainsaw?
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
This is also because I've always loved Fez Glitch as like a dumb, crazy rat that's hopped up on, warp stone, slinging a ball around. So,
So the background on this one's really cool. Basically, it's stating that he got banned, but then they tore him apart and put him back together again with new pieces. And now he's a new player, so he can't be banned. So then he gets banned, and then he gets taken apart, put back together, and is a brand new player.
right.
So I like how a lot of these fluff backgrounds are going into the actual rules committee and the NAF, and there's an engineering department and there's a rules department.
There was a orc in second edition called Greaser Greer Grinder.
Gear grinder.
Yes, Greaser Greer.
Nope.
I can't say it because I think of Pam Greer.
Pam
Greaser?
Grier Grinder. Who's a brat who really loved to
Right.
watch Pam Grier movies.
Pam Greer Grinder. Now I said the wrong first name.
You said the
Greaser
wrong both names.
Gear Grinder.
Correct.
When I was reading this, I really wish this was Greaser.
Yeah, me too.
I wish it was an orc that maybe it was a crazy orc with a ball and chain. Not that team needs a ball and chain guy, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm okay with it being a Skaven whatever. And even the Skaven ball and chain is still cool. I don't know why you don't do Fez Glitch, but I'm assuming most of these reasons are legal. You know, they don't
Maybe so.
they don't want to have any idea or any problems with, IP or anything.
I would have been
So they just create brand new people.
if this was Fez Glitch Rust Gouger, that would have been perfectly fine for
Yeah.
me in my head. But whatever.
And Fez Glitch, like a computer program having a glitch and he freaks out instead of Fez Glitch. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
So pretty cool.
What's the difference between him and Fez Glitch?
Well, 2 movement for 1.
Fez Glitch is only 3 movement, right?
Believe so.
This one's 5, so he's gonna really bang it around.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think Mighty Blow is on this one. I don't think Fez Glitch. I could be wrong.
I'm not positive.
And I don't have the books with me, and I'm not going to get up and get them. So, whoever's out there. Oh, but Steve might have one right behind us. Oh, he has his cards. Look at this guy. All right, did you get it?
Okay, so we've got the book. Fez Glitch from the CRP has Loner Ball and Chain, Disturbing Presence, Foul Appearance, No Hands, a Secret Weapon.
That's right. And
And
3
he's-
movement.
4737.
All I know.
So he was not very. I mean, he was annoying. He's got this ball full of disgusting stuff. So he's going to be hard to take down. He's causing problems if you pass.
I know it's probably not the right thing to do with Skaven, but I sure would love to play with Creek Rust Gouger and Fez Glitch on the same team for 230.
Yeah. And when Creek has Ball and Chain, Mighty Blow, Prehensile Tail, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's got to be attempted at some point. That's all I can say.
And I don't know, just 130 for that. That's just really good.
I might have to just blow some tournaments and do the Glart and Glart Jr. and a bunch of linemen, and then do Vesglitch and this guy at some point. But it was a cool background. It kind of spotlighted the Warpfire Warriors, which was a Skaven team from the past. So I like that. So
yeah.
Next up is Horkon Heartripper.
One of my favorites. I just like stabbing people.
Only thing I could find in here, and it's just kind of nitpicky. They talk about the Dark Mountain Spiders, which I played at the last 3-Die Brawl.
Right.
They were the team in the second edition creative design or fluff that was a team of spiders. So they had like the record for the most players on a roster, and that's what turned it into you can only have 16 rostered players on your team.
Right.
It sounds like they're a chaos team because in the very first quote is in Harkon's background says, and it's a quote from Bob, I think. It says, "I got to say, Jim, the Dark Mountain Spiders have a tough season, but things are starting to look up for the no-good chaos creepy crawlers." And chaos is not an adjective. It is a noun because it's capitalized.
But it is creepy crawlers. So why would they say that about?
I don't know. So
I mean the spiders, but
I have a question mark here, just saying, like, I wonder, like, in their head, did they want to give them a race instead of giving them, not mentioning? I just didn't know if they wanted to mention a team that was a race that didn't exist or not. So I don't know. It's not even a nitpick.
Fishmen in the last one, though.
I know they did.
Or not fishmen.
It was fishmen somewhere.
Sea elves.
Sea elves and fishmen. Fishmen were mentioned somewhere.
I think that was old school.
Oh, okay.
But
so I don't know. I didn't know if they were trying to say that the Dark Mountain Spiders are now a chaos team or not, but either way.
So now that I have the book, let me look at Harkon, just make sure that he didn't change any.
I don't think he did. I think he's still same price.
210.
I did think it was really neat that they said his originating team was the Ashbane Vendettas, which was an old team from the Fluff and Dark Elf team from the Fluff. So I was like really happy to see that.
Yeah, so he's the same as he used to be.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty cool little background.
Next up are the Swift Twins. So we see a return of 2 players. One that was mentioned in 2nd edition, and one that was a star player for the Elfheim Eagles in 2nd edition.
And one was mentioned in the last book.
Right, as being retired in 2501 when the book setting was in 2494 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever it was.
It was one of the examples.
2496.
It was one of the examples we pointed to when we were like, so they have stuff in here for the future past the date that they're at.
Right. So we have the Swift Twins. This is Valen Swift and Lucen Swift. Lucen Swift used to play for the Galadrith Gladiators, and Valen Swift used to play for the Elfheim Eagles alongside Soren Hightower, who we already have a star player for. These guys are kind of in the same vein as Grack and Crumpleberry or Brickfarth and Grotti. You get both players for 1 cost, and they have some type of like weird bonus or something.
I don't mind the fact that they both play together. That's kind of interesting. I don't see how or why you'd ever do that, because it's 390 for 2 amazing elves, but that's a lot of inducements.
Although I might be able to play with these in my next game if I don't take any journeymen. So maybe I should find out if these are legal.
My main concern is they have a skill that is not a skill written in the skill sheet. It's more along the lines of you have to bring this book with you to any tournament or league where you're playing them to show that they have this ability.
That's not that huge of a deal, but yes.
And the ability is while one of the Swift Twins is in the dead and injured box, the other Swift Twin loses the loner skill. No, I don't like that. Because I'm going to be taking Lucian with his block, loner, mighty blow, and tackle, and his 7-3-4-8, I'm going to send that guy up to get killed as fast as possible.
Okay.
So that I can get Valen with his accurate Nerves of Steel pass, safe throw, and sure hands, and his 7-3-5-7, and just destroy you with him, unless you knock him down.
So,
which I guess is pretty easy since he doesn't have dodge or block. But
I almost feel like it should work the opposite way. Like, maybe they should be 20 more. So, like 410. I mean, it's still, let's say they're
I
not.
would like that better.
One of them gets hurt and the other one doesn't know what to do. So now he gets loner.
He's distracted, so now he's got loner.
Right.
I would like that much better, because that actually fits the fluff.
Because that feels like, oh, my brother's hurt. I'm more concerned about him than this game. I'm not listening to the coach. But while we're together, man, we are like liquid fire, man. We're smooth and doing whatever we need to do.
So
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it does either. It's just annoying.
Listeners, whoever gets a chance to play with the Swift twins in your league, please report back a story because I want to hear it. I just don't see how elves are going to get, like, unless it's a brand new team coming into a league.
I'm sure they can, and it's going to hurt you because they would take any touchdowns or whatever. But I just don't like the idea of having to bring this book to show you have a skill.
Sure.
Period.
I get that.
And people are going to say, well, you'd have to show the stats and stuff, but you're also right there, so I don't know what I'm really complaining about. Now,
we're just used to only carrying one book around instead of four. So.
Yeah. Before we move on, this page does have one of the greatest things ever in a GW book.
Are we going to claim?
Through the unofficial, unofficial official source, this may or may not have been influenced by our last podcast about Death Zone 1.
Okay.
Bugman's Book of Records. Ever since a blatantly false misprint in a copy of Spike magazine, Valen Swift has been hounded by rumors that he's left the Elfheim Eagles for good. Despite his assertions that he's just on hiatus, and the fact that the offending article gave his leaving date as more than 5 years in the future, the annoying gossip just won't die. We might have a hand in that. And that is just awesome.
That's cool.
Now, if we don't, it's fine. But we did point it out. And it's interesting to see them correct fluff with fluff. Yeah. And that's the only way they would do it. So, like, next time there might be some tidbit saying, well, Barak actually played for the Warhammerers, not the Grudge Bearers.
Right.
Or something. But it's neat.
Next star player is Beau Galante. Am I saying that correctly? Or is it Gallant?
I was thinking Gallant.
Okay. Well, it has the E with the little...
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not French.
Beau Gallant. Okay. We'll say
Beau Dallas.
Beau Dallas.
Yep.
Beau Leave.
Beau Leave.
Okay.
Wrestling joke.
At this point, before we talk about this guy, why aren't the star players in alphabetical order?
I don't know. I don't think that matters for here.
It obviously doesn't matter because now I justify going like, oh, it must be their last names. And then I'm like, no, it must be, by the races. No.
I would also think it might be by races. I don't know. Because what we got? Dwarf.
This one's a high elf, so that throws everything out of the way when you have Skaven.
It puts all the elves together.
Okay, well.
And it puts the Skaven together.
But still, I just don't get it. So, Beau Gallant, or Beau Galante, as I want to pronounce his name, he's basically just an uppity snob elf, just like they were kind of imagined in second edition, where they cared about their hair and their makeup and their clothes.
This comes very close to stereotypically gay. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for.
Well, I'm glad you just went out and said that.
I'm just going to say,
no, that's exactly what it sounds like.
I don't think I have a problem with that. Because they're not making fun of gay people. They're making fun of elves. But then all elves are gay. But not all elves are gay. Yes, it's just a joke article thing. But it was interesting.
It's okay, though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying... Anyways. I don't know about this guy. I don't know if he's needed.
I don't see any... I don't have any... But he's only high elf.
He's high elf.
Is he really filling a need for the high elf team?
He's dodge, loner, sidestep, sprint, sure feet. 8347, and he's 160. I don't know. I mean, the high elves don't come with dodge.
So high elves, they have 8 armor though, right?
No, they have 7.
They just have 7?
They just have 7.
Why are they so expensive?
Because they have 8 movement.
Oh, is that what it is?
They have 8 movement.
All throughout?
Mm-hmm. No, high elf catchers have 8 movement.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But they are expensive, so I don't know. He just kind of reminds me of, I think there's like an undead star player like Jay Earlice or somebody like that, who is basically like a ghoul catcher that has like a couple of skills, but it's like, to me, it doesn't feel like it's worth the money. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see a point. I don't see any time that I would take him, because I should have catchers, and I would want catchers to be my catchers. And even at a tournament, he's okay, but I would probably just sooner take a catcher and put block on him.
His purpose is probably a 1-turn score because he has sidestep, he has sure feet, and he has sprint. So
Yeah,
that allows him to move 11 squares. So you need to push somebody into him twice to get him up.
Yeah, but if you can do that, I guess so.
That's what I'm...
Yeah, that's probably the
I'm
only...
not good at 1-turn scoring and positioning to do
Right.
that. I know there's other people around the world who are great at it. So maybe that's his purpose, is you have him on your team, you need that 1-turn scorer, you can do it.
I did like the L'Oreal Elflock's Fabulous Follicles Award, 2491 to 2493.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And he mentions a game against the Fire Isle Phoenixes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Is that an old school team?
I don't recall it.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Fire Island is a very big gay resort.
Oh.
So, and Phoenix is flaming.
Gotcha. I don't remember his originating team either. The Terranok Titans. Now, they might be in... I didn't go check like the Laura Nuffle or anything to see. But I love hearing about these old teams.
Yeah. It's cool. I always like seeing team names.
You notice they're not called the "we like to jump over the line and score" elves.
Yeah.
I'd like to remind everybody, if you look at all these names, they're like real team names pretty much throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
Not like the ones that you're basing it off of,
Well,
Jimi Hendrix songs.
There's always the Gouge Die or the Chaos All-Stars that don't, or the World's Edge Wanderers, or there are ones that don't fit that criteria, but that's fine.
But they still fit it.
Yes.
Next up, Willow Rosebark.
It was an interesting backstory.
I love Willow, and I know most people don't.
I don't get it. She's fine.
Where I was saying I don't know why you need the last guy, Beau Gallant, you always tell me that about Willow. When I say, like, I'm going to take Willow on my team, and you're like, I don't get it. Why would you bother? So
she's fine.
She's pretty cool. I think she gives elves that 4-strength person that you need to just get a, you don't need a guard. You get 2 dice on a common person. So that's why I like her when I induce her, like for Amazons or elves. But I understand if you don't like her.
I guess so.
To me, she's cheap.
She is cheap. I'll give you that for a 4-strength person.
So,
and she does have 3 agility, so she could run the ball if you wanted.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Don't know why you would, but...
We got Willow's background. Nothing really like stood out as like super awesome.
I thought it was interesting that she protected the area.
But,
so she's like a spirit. I guess they officially said she's the first dryad that played.
Mm-hmm.
First appearance of a dryad in an NAF-sanctioned game. So that's pretty neat.
Kind of like the picture of her. It makes me want to change my model I use when I play with Willow.
Yeah, if they put out a figure that looked anything like that, it would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would be pretty awesome. Next up is Carla Von Kill.
Which is just Zara the Slayer.
I don't see any stab. Or a special rule that, stakes work against.
No stab, no stakes.
Okay.
Other than that, Zara the Slayer.
You can't say that.
Well, see, if I take away stab and stakes, that would leave me block, dauntless, dodge, and jump up.
Oh, okay. They both have loner.
Yeah, they do both have loners, so all
Okay,
those skills completely match.
Fine, let's go to the stat line. 6, 4, 3, 8. Does that match?
Yeah, that would be the exact same.
I thought Zara had 7 armor.
No, she has 8.
Oh.
So, and her cost is 220, not 270. So it's almost like you took away a single and a double skill.
Huh.
Yeah, it's the same damn player.
I know.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm perfectly fine with her being in the book. I like her background. I love the picture. I'm okay with the name. Isn't Von Kill a name that's been around before?
They said it's mentioned like the current NAF commissioner. His last name is Von Kill. But really, I'm almost 100% sure. Back when I played 2nd edition for the Oldheim Ogres, I had a ogre called Crusher Von Kill. just like it's spelled here. As silly as that is.
Karla, Crusher?
Crusher with a K and then Von Kill. And he's even on the latest edition of my traveling or tournament ogre team. So I think they heard me talk about him on previous podcasts, and they were like, that is an awesome name, Von Kill. Let's make a Karla Von Kill. Because we don't want to take Scott's ogre idea.
Sure, of course. I think that's exactly where they
So
got it to.
just like we're claiming that they put that blurb in about and had to change and like fix stuff because of us with the elves retiring or Valen Swift retiring, I'm claiming this one too. Von Kill came out of the mind of Scott when he was in junior high. You're welcome.
You know one thing that bothers me about this?
What's that?
And it's not really something to, I guess, I can't really, I wish she was in a different rule book. Only because that picture is awesome. And I would love for that picture to be on the cover.
Oh, I agree.
The fact that you could have a Blood Bowl book come out with a female star player on the cover
Totally agree.
would be amazing.
Totally agree.
Because there are women who want to play this game, and we've taught a couple, and, you know, things are not as sexist as they used to be. You know, we don't have the babe. You know, there's not that many teams around that are easy to find that are nude anymore, even though 15 years ago, that's all you could find for female teams.
Sure.
So I thought that would be kind of neat. But
They play for the exact same teams too. Amazons, Halfling, Human, Norse. Is that how? I remember the old Zara I thought could play for dwarves.
yeah, she could play for dwarves.
Could she play for Norse?
No. Well, yeah. Amazon, dwarf, human, Norse. And then the new ones for 6th ed was halfling, high elf, and wood elf.
Halfling, high elf.
Yeah. So I guess the new one can no longer play for high elves and wood elves.
Okay. Wait, go back to Zara the Slayer. Read off the teams she can play for.
Zara the Slayer can play Amazon, dwarf, halfling, high elf, human, Norse, or wood elf.
Okay.
So
They dropped the elf teams with
they
Karla Von
dropped
Kill.
all the elf teams.
Okay. See, they're different.
Okay.
And they dropped the dwarf team.
They did drop dwarf.
See, they're different. Doesn't that make you happy?
No. I mean, it's fine. It's
I'm just giving you a hard time.
probably better that way because no dwarf team was going to take Zara, but I could see a dwarf team take Karla.
True. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
It really does feel like a clone player.
Yeah. And if you play halflings in a league, are you going to take Karla and Zara if you could?
Without a doubt. Because I like to take Zara over Deeproot anyways.
Yeah. More mobility so you can blitz and hit people or whatever.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So you could have two trees.
If these rules were
of these.
If these rules were in place now for 3-die brawl, I might try to work both of them into a halfling team and take it.
I can see that.
I don't know if the math is there, but I sure would love to try it. But overall, we'll see where it goes. Originating team, the Hochstead Hellfires.
Hochstadt Hellfires.
So, pretty interesting.
Probably is something, I don't know. These backgrounds have a lot of talk about stadiums, which I think is pretty neat.
Well, I think that's foreshadowing too.
Yeah,
for
it is.
What's coming out.
Then we have Helmut Wolf.
Yeah, Helmut Wolf.
Which in the picture looks like an old orc guy.
He looks orc to you? He just looks like an old crazy Norse guy to me.
Looks kind of greenish, but that's probably just the hue.
Oh, yeah, of the artwork. Yeah.
And he's wearing a shirt. And if I look closely, it doesn't look like he's wearing a shirt. Just, I don't know.
I can see that.
But he's cool. Never thought of him as an old dude.
So what I was pretty happy about this, reading his profile, there's a mention of the Chainsaw Loonies from 2nd edition, how all teams could carry, loonies back then. And that was true. You could replace a lineman position with a chainsaw guy.
And it was also interesting because back before 5th Ed, where the prices changed big time on chainsaws?
Living Rule Book 6.
Was it 6?
6 in the CRP, which is the same thing.
So in LRB 5, the chainsaw people were way too cheap.
Right.
And then LRB 6 came out, and it wasn't so bad.
Bumped them up a little bit.
Yeah. So I thought that background, and again, talking about... And it's really neat how most of these backgrounds talk about why they've become a star player. Not just why they played or who they were, but specifically why they no longer play for regular teams or just star players.
Right. They mentioned the old, which is funny, Helmut Wolf's an older player here. He's 47 years old. I thought that was interesting too. Which is only 4 years older than me, and he looks like he's 60 in this picture, but whatever.
I would say 60 is low for him.
He's had a hard life.
He has.
Originating team, the Brender Grimjacks, or Brundar, however you want to pronounce it. The Grimjacks, which I love that team from 2nd Ed.
Right.
Which still makes you wonder what kind of a team that was back in the day. We used to think it was undead because the Frankenstein character came from the Brender Grimjacks.
Well, I think it is.
There's other times where they're mentioned where it sounds like they're necromantic. And there's other times where they're painted up as like chaos humans in 2nd Ed pictures. So the word is out of what the Brenda Grimjacks really were back in 2nd Ed. Huh. I know it doesn't matter.
Well,
fluff-wise.
He was a lineman, so it was a team that has linemen.
Right.
We know that. So that narrows it down to 18 teams.
Right.
So it's not too bad.
So the big thing I saw different with Helmut Wolf from previous versions of Helmut Wolf in the past. The old star player could play for Amazons, humans, lizardmen, Norse, Slan, or vampire. The new one can play for Amazons, Chaos Renegade, which is Chaos Pact, humans, lizardmen, Norse, and vampire. So we lost the Slan, which is obvious.
Right.
For obvious reasons why.
They don't exist yet.
Right. And then they've added Chaos Renegade, which is interesting because Chaos Renegade can have Ugrot Bullrot, the chainsaw orc guy. So now Chaos Pact has access for, I believe, 210. They can get 2 chainsaw guys.
So this is another factor of did they take that in consideration and say, we're not going to be doing Ugrot or whatever, so let's go ahead and give Helmut access to that team to allow them to have a star player with a chainsaw?
That might be the case.
So if that's the case, then allowing both of them to play for that team is not in the intentions of GW. So the NAF should look into that and go, well, do we allow both? Do we allow one? Do we not allow them to play for them?
Well, that's a big thing with the NAF rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Overall, cool little profile. And the next guy might give you indication that they're phasing out Ugrot Bolgrot.
Yeah. Which I love this whole background.
This one might be the best one in the whole book. Ripper Bolgrot. So the old troll named Ripper, they returned his last name of Bolgrot. He used to have it, but there was also Ugrot Bolgrot, which was the orc with the chainsaw. Mm-hmm. So they dropped. He just became Ripper, and now he gets his last name back. And the story goes on about.
And it used to be Ugrot the Ripper Bolgrot.
Right,
was his full name.
The chainsaw guy.
Yeah. So this whole story talks about Ripper Bolgrot versus Ripper Bolgrot.
Right.
I thought that was really cool.
And this is like a smart troll.
Yeah. He's got a brain transplant.
Exactly. So it's pretty neat. I was pretty happy with this one.
His originating team was Death's Heads.
Right. Which was the original Orkland Raiders team.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. The Severed Heads was the original Orkland Raiders team. I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah. That sounds right.
The Death's Heads, I've heard of them in blurbs before. There's also a team called the Death Wish from Second Ed, which was Snotlings and Trolls, which is never an official team. But that's what the minis were.
That would be interesting. And yeah,
In
we do
one
have
of the pictures.
Death Wish.
Yeah, so my notes here was that Ugrot, it says the chainsaw guy was banned for life. So I was just curious. I put in my notes, is he written out of history from here on out? Which he might be.
Which I'm guessing. And that would make sense as to why
Helmet Wolf
Helmet got access, yeah.
Ugrot Bolgrot was a great chainsaw guy, though.
What do you have?
Well, he had 9 armor, which was the great thing. So if he hit
yeah.
himself with the chainsaw, he had a chance to survive. If he got knocked down, he had a chance to survive. He had just a chainsaw.
Yeah, he could only play for orcs, low new chainsaw secret weapon, 100 grand, 5339.
Not only play for orcs, he could play for Chaos Pact.
Nope.
No, your rule book is wrong. That is the old one.
What?
Yeah, that's why that has those faded star players and stuff, because they're still experimental.
Oh, I thought this was that's because they were new.
No.
Okay, I'm looking at an old one. Whatever. I should probably update that.
I know this because I played him in a tournament, a NAF sanctioned tournament.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, fair enough.
but no, this was a really cool background, so enjoy reading this one.
Any difference between him and the regular one?
Not that I saw at all. Same cost and everything.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Next up is Scrappa Sorehead. He is the same cover art as Steve was pointing out for the book. He has no pogo in the picture.
That's my biggest complaint about this whole book. Your star player, Scrappa Sorehead, which the whole background talks about how he never gets off his pogo stick, it has no pogo stick in his art. And he's on your cover. And it's like they took the name and sent it to the artist and said, hey, his name's Scrappa Sorehead. He's a goblin. Figure it out. So, picture just has him have a sore on his head.
If you ask me, they said we're going to put a goblin on here because we're introducing goblin teams, and they just used this art under the Scrappa Sorehead profile out of the art that they have created.
Yeah, that's fine too.
But the picture doesn't match up, and it's probably important.
It bugs me.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with this. Played for the Lowdown Rats, which was, I think, always alluded to back in Second Ed, too, if I remember correctly.
It talks about the secret weapon pioneer Pogo Doom Spider. Thought that was a cool name. Mm-hmm. And then the Grunhoff Gutter Snipes.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't like... Sometimes some of the old names they put in here aren't both down approved. So, why don't they contact me and ask me?
I don't know. But you should, why don't you just go ahead and read the Bugman's Book of Records note?
Is this one I missed?
Probably.
The Dark Mountain Spiders are one of the most unusual teams on the circuit, made of entirely of gigantic, mutated, creepy crawlies. They're always struggle to maintain a fan base. It's hard to say whether they're more because of their rather niche appeal or their habit of celebrating a win by cocooning everyone in the stands to feed on the young. Okay, guess that answers my question.
Yeah, so, yeah, they're still spiders. Now, I'm sure there's not many orderly spider teams out there, so they're still ruled by chaos.
I understand, and I know now that chaos is called chaos chosen, so it just made me question it.
Right, I understand.
Okay. Next up is Madcap Miggs. Here's another. Go ahead and just do it.
What?
This is another instance of we're going to describe a star player to you that's totally different than the picture.
Oh, yeah, the art is horrible. I don't want to say horrible. It's probably... I can't tell what's going on in the art. So that to me, that's horrible. It's a squig, I'm assuming. And it's interesting. It's like if you took a photo of something and had like no flash and it was foggy and kind of green out for some reason. That's what this looks like. I can't tell what's going on. And the star player, very interestingly, is a squig rider.
Right. It's a goblin on top of his squig.
And people have been playing squig riders for a long time. They're very cool. And I've seen a ton of awesome models. But there's no goblin on top of this squig.
Right. So until I read the profile, I thought the star player, Madcap Miggs, was this squig.
A lot of people online still do because they didn't bother to read the fluff.
And I don't like that because I was like, why didn't they just put a rider on it? And then I read it and I was like, oh, then why is this art so misleading?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right. There's a ton of people who buy this book. They don't read this stuff. They just see Madcap Miggs and the stat line and they go for that.
Yeah. But it's very specifically, he quit the greenhorns, found some cave squigs, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, this star player has a break, tackle, claws, leap, loner, no hands, very long legs, wild animal. He's 170, 6 movement, 4 strength, 3 agility, 8 armor. This is pretty good for goblins or underworld.
Yeah. It's really good for underworld.
For 170, I get a 4 strength guy. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Again, if some of these star players were legal for 3-die brawl, it might change how I play.
Now, do you see a goblin team taking this that often? Because for 170, goblins have access to a lot of other stuff.
Sure. I keep telling myself that I'm going to play goblins like halflings and not rely on the secret weapons.
Yeah.
But then you're always swayed to like...
You're missing the fun.
That's what you think. And then you play them and you go, why didn't I just try it the other way? So
I have played them 4 times in my life, lost every match, and had a blast.
Well, you lose often and you enjoy that. So.
I don't enjoy it, but I do lose often.
I would love to try him on a goblin team for sure.
I really like it. I like this guy.
Yeah, I do too. This is the equivalent of having basically
I would rather see them...
It's another troll.
I would rather see them do this than just do rehashes of the old star players.
Sure, I get that.
Now, from their viewpoint, only these are official. So if they want those players to... they need to have a balance of star players for all the different teams. So that's what they're trying to do. But to us, we can go back to the CRP and find all the old star players.
Right.
So I don't know what the right thing to do is currently with star players.
Blood Bowl's in a very weird state.
It is, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So should we talk about the new optional rules real quick?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we don't have much choice. I don't know about most of these. I really don't.
So now we have the option to
I will say,
buy a star player for your roster.
Can I just say this?
Sure.
As a nitpick of me for design-wise, I really wish each new thing had a different look to the name instead of just being slightly bigger and bold. Because, like, the dealing with star players and settling down for a while is bigger and bolder, and then you've got smaller, kind of bold. It's hard to tell from one to the next what section you're in. That's just me.
I can tell, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but like, look
Whereas if
if they were just a different color, pure black.
by the font change,
Yeah.
I'm not the font change, but the font size and alone, that's what they're doing to indicate that it's different.
Yeah.
But if they would have put a line underneath it, you definitely would have known settling down for a while is the subject. Mm-hmm. Here's the things we're going to talk about under it, and then it's not going to change again until the sponsorship deals.
Yeah, because when I was going through it, I thought the sponsoring deals were in addition to the star players.
Right.
And I was like, wait, what? What did I miss? So
Sure.
I had to go back and redo everything.
I get that. Settling down for a while is basically if you want an optional rule to hire a star player, you hire Zug, and you want to keep Zug on your team. That's.
I don't like this at all. I don't see
Well, we're
the
not
need.
going to. I mean,
Yeah.
some people will love it, though.
For,
I don't know who, but there's got to be like. I think this would kick into more of effect of if you had new players. It's a group of new guys who play. Let's say it's a church group. And there's 4 of them who play Blood
Right.
Bowl. And they think the new star players are awesome because they just got the new guy in from Forge World.
Yeah.
I just bought Griff Overwald. He's awesome looking. And they just want to play with the model. And so then they want to hire him. And that's what I see is a very small league thing. Like, we have a league with me and my friend.
I can get that, but that completely goes against how we play leagues.
Sure.
Because to us, it's the team you're taking into the league is your team, and star players are there to help out if they need to. So the whole idea of having a star player be part of your team is just weird.
It is, but I understand because star players in second edition came with star player. I mean, teams came with star
Right.
players. And the star player book was full of star players, and they already had a team label to them. You wanted to
Yeah,
play
but-
with Morg, you played with the Chaos All-Stars.
Yeah.
You wanted to play with Griff, you wanted to play the
But to
Reclaim
me,
Reavers.
that was more of an idea of these were the star players of that team.
Sure. Instead
Whereas
of the
currently, star players are seen as freebooters who can be hired for a team.
That's correct. But somebody's going to like this.
I'm
Might be-
sure. I'm sure.
And
I'm
I
just
see it
saying
more in a small
us,
league.
I don't see it.
Not at all. Not for us.
Okay.
Not even with the friends in the home league. There's no way.
No.
Sponsorship deals. This is kind of interesting. You know, you can do one of the steps at the end. You can roll and see if you get a team sponsor to get some extra money. I like the fluff, you know, by some of these ongoing sponsors, one-time sponsors.
Yeah.
The major sponsors, you know, you have McMurdy's Burger Emporium, you have Far Blast and Sons Ordnance Solutions, you have Star Insurance Guild, all things that have been mentioned.
Steel
you know-
Helm Sporting Emporium.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
that one. Some of these have been mentioned in other little fluff
Yeah.
background blurbs. They're interesting.
They just seem.
I don't know if I'd ever use them either. Now, back when we played in second edition, we made up our own sponsorship things.
Right. And I
And-
like that better.
And we just, you wore a patch and then you rolled like a dice to get extra money. So these are neat. I could see it, a team using these, or even really if our home league wanted to use these, I'd be okay with trying it.
I don't. They seem a little too good. Like, for instance, we're not going to go through every single one of them because,
Sure.
you know, you can read the book. Maybe later we'll do that. But for right now, if you want more information, go buy the book. Steel Helm Sporting Emporium. When rolling on the improvement table for a player on a team that is sponsored by them, the coach can choose to roll 3 dice instead of 2, then discard one of the choice. However, if they do so and 2 or more of the dice roll the same number, the player gets overexcited, overdoes the training, and must miss the next match. Or they might actually get a niggling injury if they roll 2 ones. Okay, I will gladly take that. You give me 3 dice, and that gives me better odds of getting double 6s or 6 and a 5.
Or even double skill if you need it.
Yeah, no question. Every single match, I'm going to do that.
Sure.
And if a team can get +1 strength, +1 agility, double skills on your big guy, no. Way too powerful.
It's fairly powerful. Or it seems like it could be abused, but they're not easy to get either. So
No, now if the player just straight up died, if they got the same number, that's a risk that if you want to take it, you take it.
Next up is Blood Bowl stadiums. This was kind of interesting how you can play at a random stadium. You can,
I've wanted to do stadiums forever. I've always thought it would be a cool idea in our leagues if the home team actually got home field advantage. So you got to have your own stadium.
Sure.
Or you could induce, like if you had your own stadium, you could induce your own kickoff table. Anything like that. So I don't hate these rules in that idea. There's just a lot of things I don't really care about. And I don't like the idea that you just kind of get it by chance. So the rules are the rules. So if you want to read it, go figure it out. But you can buy a stadium and then you can become a resident or not, etc., etc. All that's very interesting. I just wish that you started at a low-end stadium and then could pay to upgrade as things go.
And we might see that in future editions.
Sure.
It's very interesting.
And some of these results are very cool because they talk about astrogranite or
right.
They
incorporated like old things that. I mean, in second edition, that was the big deal with the styrofoam field. Is now there's astrogranite.
Yeah, and you've got like a local crowd stadium or a luxury stadium, unusual playing surfaces, rough and ready. And one of them I thought was odd, which I guess not really. It talks about the uncovered trapdoors. On our custom pitches we make, we don't have trapdoors.
I know, it might be something we need to start adding.
No.
No?
No. Although, it's interesting because they do talk earlier that the trapdoors are used to get people on and off the field faster. So I thought that was kind of cool. When I talked about Madcap.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like the idea of them.
Sure.
But that's just me.
Right. You're an old guy.
Yep.
I think it'd be fun to roll up a whole bunch of stadiums, put them in envelopes, and then at a tournament, you just hand out envelopes, and that's what stadium you're playing in.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that would be fun. I think this would be fun at league night at the store. Like,
but
we're
also,
going to have random stadiums.
If that's the case, we do our best to keep things pretty even. Or if there's a swing one way or the other, there's a chance it can go either way.
Right.
Even when I had the 100 Spiky Cup results, there were some that were absolutely horrible, some that were great, and I tried to do an even mix of both.
Right.
So this just doesn't seem that way.
Oh, yeah, it's a little unbalanced, but...
Yeah.
Let's see, we have a local crowd table now. Lots of tables.
Oh, yeah. This is the other thing that really set me off art-wise in this book.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to...
On page 33, right above page 33, we have an orc whose arm, I don't know, you're the artist, you tell me, is that finished? Is it unfinished? Did they leave part of the unfinished? Because the arm, he's got two left arms, but one of them is in sketch format.
Right.
The other one is on his leg. You see that?
Yeah, I
assume it is. Maybe that's just his pants, but...
I don't know. This definitely looks like somebody was drawn digitally, and they didn't maybe hire the right... yeah, they left on the layer in one of their sketches and didn't finish it, because his hand is green, and then he has like a wire. It looks like a wire, but it's a pencil drawn. It's incomplete.
And you can't say that that's just the style, because other places they have just the sketch drawings of the goblins or something. That's fine. But that guy should have been finished, and he's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is visually I can see an arm next to his like hip bone, but
right, but then he would have to have a black glove, and he doesn't have a black glove.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So really,
on the other hand.
it's his arm's not finished.
I bet you that's what they saw too when they glanced through the book after the layout, and then, but it's
that's a failing on the editor. So
no doubt
they're fired.
Okay, Steve's fired you.
I have that power. They are fired.
So to justify that, we're going to say that he had a magical potion to to make his arm invisible.
He was phasing in at the time.
Right, teleporter. Mm-hmm. So we got local crowd. Then there's even optional rules to eventually buy your stadium and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I don't know.
I'd have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to see if it...
A lot of steps.
Yeah.
A lot of money to do that. You can lose the residency of the stadium. You can take ownership. You can sell it. It's a lot of interesting things. So far, though, this book, while I like it, and I like all the additional rules for people who want to use them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's somebody out there that's going to use the stadiums.
Yeah, I love the fact
I probably
that they're
won't. I'm glad that there's options. This incarnation of Blood Bowl feels like so much like second edition, where we have lots of tables now.
Yes.
Before, we didn't have so many tables. Now we have tables. And we have pages and pages and pages of tables. And then you need this book, and you need the last book, and you need this White Dwarf article to take to your game so you have all the rules.
Now, of course, GW wants you to buy the book and have the book.
Of course they do.
But the great thing really is they're not really affecting the core rules at all.
No, they're not.
So we can still play our game and not even think about this book.
But it reminds me of second edition in that
absolutely.
aspect. So what I'm kind of hoping,
The old Blood Bowl compendium comes back.
I'm hoping
Or your book.
that they play test
Oh.
something for random skills. And I hope it's better than our solution, since we enjoy random skills.
I don't know if there's a better way of doing it than we do.
I know that, but I'm open to listen.
Really cool.
So I just imagine that one day we'll see, Death Zone Season 5, and it has random skill rules for your league.
It could.
And I'll gladly listen to what they have to say. Yeah. Next up is famous referees. Once again, I don't know why anybody would play with these.
Yeah,
They could, but I don't know why. And we don't foul probably as much as everybody else, or whoever wrote up these rules must think people foul every turn because they just do it for fun. I don't see this much fouling normally, but fluff-wise, these are really cool.
Fluff-wise is very cool. I thought it was neat that Ed Hockley, one of the longtime NFL referees, is referenced, sort of.
Uh-huh.
Randolph Red Hockley, Hockley, or whatever.
Yeah, he's in here. There's a Thorin Cornson.
And these might be people, but if you know who these are named after, let us know.
Jorm the Ogre. Now what?
And Bungo, Philibert, and Jeff.
Oh, that's right, the halfling ones.
Trundlefoot triplets.
What's interesting is...
I guess they're the Three Stooges.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Because there might be some British humor in here that we do not understand.
That's true.
Or World Cup soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, if there's stuff that we wouldn't get because we're Americans, please let us know.
Yeah, exactly. All these refs basically just give a ref personality. Like, they'll catch people maybe fouling more, this or that. They have their own little table. It's interesting, but what I find the most interesting is they had a halfling and a goblin referee miniature. There's no goblin here.
Don't they already have those rules in White Dwarf, though?
Oh, is that what that's from? Oh, you're right. That is right.
Okay.
With the little extra rules that's different than these rules. You're right. Just
That's
made me
much.
think of it because the artwork is of the same halfling that they sold through Forge World or whatever.
The face looks different to me. I don't know why.
I'm pretty sure it's the same artwork. Big sandwich and all, but...
Yeah,
anyways,
but the face looks weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's I haven't seen it so clearly before. Or haven't paid attention.
right. Anyways, these are interesting if you're into this. I know...
For the most part, we're not.
But I sure would have been during second edition.
So...
In second edition, everything that came out, we added to Blood Bowl instantly.
Yeah. And I was going to say, save this for later, but what if they came out with a pack of cards that had all of these options on them? So...
Much better.
Right. So we get a pack of cards that says, okay, this is the triplets, and this is what it does, and you can play. So all you need to do is take that one card with you, play it, and you've got it. And for all these new inducements or the stadiums,
They could.
that would be pretty cool.
They could.
Okay. I think that would be better to me, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could do that. Turn the page, you get to new rules.
Now, this
Not
is
optional rules.
Exactly.
These are new rules.
These are new rules.
I'm not so keen on these either, but we'll see.
For the most part, I don't hate these. I think they're interesting. So they're inducements.
They're definitely they're
infamous coaching staff with the IN in quotes.
Right.
Well, in parentheses.
First off is Horatio X. Schottenheim.
Brother of Marty Schottenheim?
I guess so. Master Mage. He's 80,000 gold pieces, available to any team. He's a wizard.
This is the first wizard that we've had in the official rules.
Official new rules, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And he's 80k instead of 150, because the old one was 150. The old one could do a lightning bolt or a fireball. And I've always talked about how I preferred just making it a fireball only for 100,000. Mm-hmm. And this is a little different.
This is 80k, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I pick a spot. I then roll the scatter template and a D3. Mm-hmm. And then wherever it scatters is the target square. And then it blows up and hits whoever.
Yeah.
So it's a very inconsistent fireball.
Inaccurate fireball that you can do twice a game, once every half.
You can do it once every half, which is pretty powerful.
But for 80k and the inaccuracy of it...
But it's worth it almost.
When would you ever do that?
Like right at the beginning when everybody's in a big cluster?
On the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So where do you put the template?
Right behind the guy that's on the line of scrimmage.
So straight behind him.
I don't know. There's a great chance now, though, it could hit your own guys.
Oh, yeah. And if it just goes back 3 at an angle, it's going to hit nobody.
Sure. It says, at least what I wrote down, I'm not going to go dig through here. It says that it causes a turnover. Why does it cause a turnover if you either do it before or after the play?
If a player on Horatio's team is knocked down by a fireball, they do not suffer a turnover unless they're playing... Oh. I see what you're saying. At the start of his team's turn or immediately after his team's turn. So if he does it at the beginning of his turn, then if the guy with the ball goes down, it's a turnover. They do that because otherwise you can use it too easily. Not easily, but if it went like your guy has 3 people in front of him and knocks down all 3 of those people, you could just go straight ahead.
Okay.
But if it takes down the ball carrier, then your turn ends. Otherwise, it could take all those down. You get the ball, and is it a big deal? I don't think so. But it makes it less likely for you to be using it offensively than defensively.
Okay.
That was my thought.
Then we have Kari Coldsteel, the Norse cheerleader.
Hate it.
She's 50K. She counts as 3 cheerleaders. She also, if your team ever dips below 11 players, she'll come off the bench. And she'll play for your team. She's 6'2", 3'7", block, dauntless, frenzy, and loner.
Hate it.
Hate it.
100%.
Why?
Too powerful.
Seems really powerful.
For 50k, I get 3 cheerleaders, which only comes into play on 1 kickoff result.
Sure.
That's fine. But for freaking dwarves, if I get them below 11, now this cheerleader could just pop onto the field and be annoying.
Yeah, this is only available to Amazons, dwarves, humans, and Norse teams.
If it was only Amazons or maybe human... dwarves don't need this. Period. Dwarves do not need this.
It's going to be one of those deals where when it does work, it's going to work awesome. And when it never... I mean, it's going to be a waste most of the time. But when it kicks in, people are going to be really screaming.
Yeah, but with me, if I have Amazons and I'm sitting at 11 players, why wouldn't I take her?
I would take this over a Babe.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's just me.
It's a guaranteed player if you go below 11.
Then we have Fink the Fixer, the Goblin Personnel Assistant Coach. He plays for Ogre, Orcs, Goblins, and Underworld Denizens. I can't even say that
Denizens.
word. The Underworld team.
50K.
Denizens. That just feels like a weird word to me.
It is.
50K, what does he do, Steve?
You got it, boss. Fink counts as 3 assistant coaches. In addition, if Fink's team uses a bribe, they can re-roll the dice to see if it works. Finally, if Fink's team's head coach argues a call, it will succeed on a 5 or more, not just a 6. However, if the attempt to argue a call fails, Fink is sent to the dungeon along with the head coach and has no further effect on the game. Seems really good for a Goblin team.
Yeah, like you just take him and
you got coaches for kickoffs.
you just use your bribes.
And
Use them to reroll your bribes. You don't even use them for the argue the call part.
yeah, you use them for both because you can argue the call before using the bribe.
Oh, that's true.
So now it's a 1 out of 3 chance that you don't even have to use a bribe. Right?
That's true, yeah.
Because we don't use argue the call in the local league.
Right.
So if that's the case, or in a tournament, you have a 1 out of 3 chance of never having to use a bribe.
That's pretty nutty. It seems fairly powerful, too.
Yeah. For 50K, I don't see why a Goblin team wouldn't take it. Although I guess bribes are 50K. I don't know.
I don't know why all of these aren't 80K, personally. The next guy is 80K. Papa Skullbones, he's the Chaos Shaman. He, basically, you hire him, you pick a guy to get the power of the gods to, and you roll a D8. Which I know there's like an error that says D6.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But it's stuff like he's unworthy, the player's knocked out, is a 1. And then like 8 is pick one of the above results, which some of the results are really good. Like thorny protrusions, the player gains claws and horns. Grizzly bifurcation, the player gains the extra arms and 2 heads. So there's some cool things here.
I like it. I mean, it's fun. It's only 80K, so it's a nice little mix. There's a bad result of getting knocked out, which I guess is bad. But you're pretty much giving it to linemen anyways, so I don't know if that really matters. 2 is pick a random player on the same team, excluding players who are not on the pitch, and players for whom a roll on this table has already been made, and roll on this table again. So, on a 2, it just goes to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So that's not too bad. And then 3 through 7, you're getting mutations. That's pretty cool.
Right.
And then 8, you get whatever the heck you want.
Freakish proportions is kind of weird because you get big hand and very long legs, and very long legs aren't. I guess it's used for intercept attempts, but
yeah,
but still cool.
Yeah, and it's down there along the lines of bad. And tentacles can be bad if it's on a lineman because it doesn't really matter too much usually.
Yeah, still makes people
roll. Absolutely.
So, next up is Galandril Silverwater, the Elven cheerleading coach. I believe it does the same thing, right? Counts as...
Each time the number of cheerleaders Galandril's team has is used, for example, during a cheering fans kickoff event, the team counts as having twice as many cheerleaders as normal. If it doesn't have any, it counts as 1. In addition, each time a player on the team scores a touchdown, intercepts the ball, or inflicts a casualty roll a d6. On the result of 6, the team gains an additional team reroll.
That seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, it does. For 50K, you...
Theoretically, you
the
get
cheerleader
a lot of...
thing doesn't really matter, but it gives you at least 1 cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you score a touchdown, casually or intercept, you might get another reroll.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty damn good.
Next up is Shock Whisker.
Crot Shock Whisker. Skaven Engineer, 80K. Available to Skaven and Underworld denizens.
And basically, he's experimenting on the Skaven players, just like Papa Skullbones did to the Chaos players. This guy is giving mechanical things to
And it
to Skaven.
he basically takes someone from the dead and injured box who's not a star player
That's
and not
true.
dead.
He's not really, I guess, adding machinery to him. He's bringing him back to life in a way like a Frankenstein would. Like you would a flesh golem.
Yeah.
So if somebody gets like out of the game, a casualty, you can roll in this chart. And the best thing you can get is like he goes back out on the field and like a zombie and he'll play for you. And the worst thing, he stays knocked out. So
Now, it is interesting that the negatives still take place. So if you did move bust somebody or strength bust or edge bust,
yeah, they're only okay for that game, and then
well, there's still mood and edge busted.
out there on the field,
Right.
I'm saying, but they can play, and then they'll still take those injuries and miss the next game. So
And it's possible that if you get a 1 out of the D6, then you roll on the injury chart or casualty roll again. So they could possibly die from it.
that's kind of neat, though.
So it's kind of expensive, only for Skavens, only works for people who are out of the game, and there's a chance they die. I'm fine with that. Whenever there's a chance that someone dies, I don't care. It can be real powerful, but there's a chance on a 6-sided die that your player is just going to straight up die.
You're okay with that?
Now, of course, not just straight up die, but they could get another injury.
Right.
So there's always that chance.
So next up is the new teams, which is not really new teams, but
Right.
it's new to some people.
So the interesting thing on this, I guess we'll just go in order.
It's goblins. Goblins now get a couple changes, right?
Yeah, they get the Hooligan and a Doom Diver.
So the Doom Diver has a 6 movement, 2 strength, 3 agility, 7 armor, right stuff, stunty, swoop. Want to read swoop for everybody?
Oh, let me get there.
This is a new addition. This is basically a little goblin that has like some little wings on him or whatever, so he can float and control his landing from being thrown better.
Swoop is this player is equipped with a rudimentary set of wings, either natural or engineered, allowing them to glide through the air rather than plummeting gracefully if they are thrown by a teammate. If a player with swoop is thrown by a player with a throw teammate skill, the throw-in template is used instead of the scatter template. And once they land, they get a +1 to landing, but when a player with both the swoop and stunty skill dodges, they do not ignore any modifiers for enemy tackle zones on the square they are moving to. The presence of a large pair of wings negates any benefit they'd gain from being small and slippery. So the pro
let's think about
is
that.
you get to use the throw-in template, so you can always go forward.
Right.
The negative is, well, also you get a +1 to landing, so that's a pro.
Right.
The negative is you don't get to ignore tackle zones.
Then why do you have stunty? Because you get the
'Cause you're
negative
still
part
stunty.
of it. So when you get hit,
Yeah.
it's +1. Okay.
And you can't throw as well and all that.
Okay. So you basically get the negative parts of being the stunty.
Yeah.
Because swoop took away the positives.
So going forward is nice, but I would love to go up against a player who's using that player for a 1-turn touchdown versus a regular goblin if I have enough people on the pitch. Because I'm just going to set up near the end zone and you're going to have to dodge through 2 people's tackle zones. So that's a 2 tackle zones, not ignoring, a 5?
Yeah.
Twice.
Sure.
That's pretty big. It's a big difference.
We'll see how it plays out. I think it's pretty powerful, but let's see how it plays out. I definitely could be wrong. We also have the Hooligan, 6'2", he's 70k, disturbing presence, dodge, fan favorite, right stuff, stunty. So basically, as even some of the designers said, this is a goblin with a Zuvela out there.
Or whatever. He's just an annoying goblin.
He's distracting you. His butt's hanging out.
I love this guy.
A lot of people said, like, is anybody not going to use a naked goblin to represent this?
They had Hooligans in 3rd edition.
Yeah, they did.
So there's a couple of cool little Hooligan official Blood Bowl models already.
So this is all right.
I really like him. He's fun. He's annoying. That's what goblins should be.
He's worth it alone to take the fan favorite, I think.
Could be.
I think.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think we've seen fan favorite on a rostered player, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
I think this guy's a little too much, too. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. They have a special rule for goblins, which is not really a special rule. It's the rule we've always had. Sneaky gets is the rule. They get bribes for 50K instead of 100.
Right.
We've always had that.
And that was mentioned in the previous one, too, I think.
So, next up is the Chaos Renegades team, also what we used to be known as the Chaos Pact. In all of these these team profiles, they like the goblins. They went through some famous goblin teams, which like the Lowdown Rats, the Scarcrag Snivellers, which were second ed,
and it's the new box set too.
Right. And then the Green Boys, which was mentioned in a little blurb in the past history. So it's kind of cool to see some of these old teams.
I think it's really cool.
I like seeing the little blurbs that talk about them. The Chaos Renegade teams goes through and talks about how they're like a hodgepodge of just chaos evil creatures. They go through the famous Renegade teams, the Mongrel Horde, the Middenmoor Marauders, the Howling Hills Hellions, and the Chaos All-Stars.
And the big change to this one is they added a Renegade Orc Lineman, 50K 5339 with Animosity.
Which,
I guess it allows it to be more closely matched to the Mongrel Horde of the old.
yeah, I mean, there was teams like the Evil Gits that got talked about in the fluff of being just a gang of evil characters, which could have easily been Chaos Pact. I don't know. I have an orc on my Chaos Pact team already. I already had the model and everything. He was just represented by Chaos Marauder stats. A little faster, more skilled, less armor. He was an orc filling that role. I don't know if he's needed. I get that some people probably needed to see this to do it.
I don't have an issue with him. He's got one less movement and one more armor than a lineman.
The big deal is he has his skills. That's where you pay for it. He does not have strength access,
right,
or pass access. So if you wanted a guy with guard, let's say, not good for that.
Right, which is good because he's not the 9 armor. So he's a lineman who is not a big strength lineman.
Sure, I'm just saying. To me, it's not enough difference to add it in here. This feels like one of those changes for change's sakes when you could have easily role played it out by saying this model's an orc. But
yeah, but also it doesn't affect anything. It doesn't. I don't see any negatives from this.
Okay, we just disagree. I don't
I
hate it.
don't think we disagree. You're not seeing any negatives either. You're saying that it's not needed.
It's definitely not needed.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. It's there though.
It's just an extra stat line to confuse people.
It doesn't confuse anybody. It just allows you one extra.
I got to paint a color ring now around my stupid Chaos Pact thing to say like this is my orc. That makes me mad. How about that?
Okay, well that is very petty.
It's all about me.
I know.
No other major changes with that.
No, I thought it was neat seeing all the different Hall of Fame coaches and Duke von Hockfire, Morgan Thorg, Vin Quills, Snicky Zucher, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Spike Magazine team rating variable due to temporal distortion.
Next up is the Underworld Denizens team, which was formerly known as just the Underworld team. This is your Skaven and your Goblin teams.
With the Troll.
And they actually talk about a couple more famous Underworld teams. Of course, they talk about the Underworld Creepers. Now they talk about the Cragmire Critters and the Dragon Crag Dirtbags.
I like that name.
So, yeah, pretty neat. They go through the focus player team profile is the Underworld Creepers. And this is a petty note here, but it says that they won the Chaos Cup in 2484. But then down in team honors, they never mention it. And most of the other teams, like Chaos All-Stars, talks about when they win the Chaos Cup. I just thought it was weird. I'm a goofball.
So it is very interesting that this is the first time that Underworld and Chaos Pact are official in GW.
It is. It's kind of neat.
For all the people complaining about they're just changing every team, there's no change to this team. This is the exact same team. The only difference is it's not called a Warpstone Troll. It's just a troll. But it still has the same stats and same access to mutations.
Right.
So, I don't have any problem with this.
Of course you don't, Steve.
Well,
Next up in the book is skills update. If you notice, and we're not going to talk long on this, at least I don't have anything to say.
I did not go through all of them.
I did not. This is the one part of the book I did not read. So if they changed some wording on something, I did not catch it. I did notice in the skill summary list, under strength, there's no piling on skill.
Oh, piling on. As per page 29 of Death Zone Season 1, the inclusion of this skill in leagues and tournaments is optional. NAF, optional, NAF.
Moving on past the skills, because we're not going to break all those down. And if somebody out there has read something
More
that
Pete
there's
Lifton art, although it's just a duplicate.
right. If there's a skill change that we didn't read about, let us know, because we're not going to read about it.
A lot of the art in this book is just reused art.
Right.
Doesn't bother me too much, but I would have rather seen new stuff.
Yeah, but you've seen everything too, which
Yeah,
a new
absolutely.
person might not have seen a lot of this. So.
Yeah, and, this is going back to Blood Bowl, the card game, some of the stuff.
Right.
So,
For sure.
I wonder if that's the same Scrappa.
We'd have to pull it out and look, but it might be.
I have to do that.
Definitely might be. So we get to the Hall of Fame section. So this is where it seemed like a lot of people in the community did not like the Hall of Fame section in Death Zone Season 1.
Well, they're all idiots, because this is the best part.
And I'm going to say right now, there's a great chance I never write these teams down and play with them with my friends or you or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it. We want to, but we haven't. But I love these. I absolutely love these.
Yeah, absolutely.
It includes a couple of things. A team that's both down approved.
Yeah.
It tells you the year that the squad and why they were famous. They give you a roster of 1 through 12 guys. All of them are the same. They're always 12 guys. I think there's one that's different in here, though.
Yeah, but they all add up to 12 million. I mean, 2 million.
Well, in the past, everyone I've seen has only been 12 players. We get one that finally has 13 players in this book, but it's
Oh,
goblins.
the creepers. Yeah.
But they all
like
add up to
16.
2 million, and they all
They have
kind of have
16
their
players.
own... Huh?
They have 16 players.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the Green Boys. 16? No, they have 12.
Underworld creepers have 16.
Oh, okay. Well, then they broke the mold totally in this then.
Yeah. No mold.
Well, I thought we were going to get a mold because I was thinking when they did it the first time, it was you buy the box set, you have exactly what you need to play a famous team. But
Still the same, because it's the box set with the 4-player add-on pack.
sure. Okay.
Which I
Every
wish they
team-
would just include these in those boxes.
Sure. That's what they should be, if
Yeah.
you ask me.
Absolutely.
That would get me to buy those boxes, even though I don't need them.
Sure would.
So don't do it. Every team has special rules. They have their roster, and I love that the roster has players named. Not named after, like, I Am Batman, the guy that we watch play Twitch.
Am I allowed to complain about the font?
Sure, go for it.
I don't like the font. It's hard to read.
It's definitely hard to read.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just me being old or something, but it's hard to read.
It could be because we're old, but the font is hard to read at times. So the first team is the Warpfire Wanderers. This is the Skaven team that I believe I said Warpfire Warriors earlier in the podcast, so I messed up. Anyway, same team. They go through all the player names. It's cool that some of them have skills. Almost everybody has
The
skills.
Leaper.
Yeah, there's
I
some,
wish he was Z Leaper.
of course you do.
He'd be Batrock's cousin.
No Rat Ogre. But
Right, because there's no Rat Ogre in the box.
sure. Anyways, a lot of cool. Talks about how they're all addicted to Warpstone, and it goes through all the players, which special rules are really nice on that. How they get worked up into a frenzy or pass out.
Does it bother you that the positions are out of order?
Because we're so used to blitzers being 1 and 2, and then gutter runners 3,
Or
4,
just
5, 6.
together?
This is how it was in second edition too. This is why, like, when my friend Gary makes a roster for tournaments, he'll scatter them out too. Does it drive me crazy? It does now.
Okay.
It used not to. That's why my old Wharf team, even though it has rings around it, they're all scattered in numbers,
Oh, okay.
and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's my, aside from the font, that's my main complaint, is just put the 2 gutter runners together, put the 2 throwers together.
But I think the original intent with Blood Bowl is if you had a lineman that was your team captain, he was number 1. Griff was number 1. Zug was number 2. I believe we could flip the page, but Morg's number 1 because he's the team captain. He's not number 6.
Okay.
That was the old implication
I
is
get it.
whoever the team captain was player 1, and so on and so on.
Still doesn't make me feel any better about it.
Well, just telling you how it is, because that's where I have a problem when I make a new team up and I want to number them. It's like, who do I want to be my team captain? Should it be the thrower or the blitzer or whatever? Anywho, so there's the Warp Fire Wanderers.
There's a nice little Bob's Locker Room banter. Prince Moranian's new fancy restaurant, Moranian's, ain't doing so well. They say the guest list's so exclusive that even the prince himself can't get in.
Their little blurbs are pretty awesome.
I do love them.
Green Boys is the goblin team that's talked about throughout the book. It has all the little, secret weapons. They have a special play. Their special rules with this squad is basically they don't have secret weapons with their weapons because they got away with fouling that year and stuff. And it goes through all that.
But they also only have 13 players, so good luck with that.
For sure. Next up is the Grudge Bearers, which were talked about earlier. Now, my one complaint about this is we talked earlier about how Barrack Farblast played for them, and yet he's not on the team. I wish he was.
Well, not this year. He played for them the year they came out. But we established that was the Warhammerers, not
That's why it doesn't fit.
This further proves that point.
Exactly.
I thought this was very interesting. Talks about the Book of Grudges. There was a lot of stat keeping with this team if you want to play this team.
Yeah, this would be kind of interesting. But yeah, basically anytime you do anything to this dwarf team, you write them down the Book of Grudges. And then as you mark them off, you can gain rerolls or something.
Yeah, anytime they do something to you, you can mess with them.
But it's pretty neat. And like I said, all the players are named real names. They're not called I am Batman, I'm Batman, I'm Batman, like the Twitch guy we watched.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is the Celestial Comets. They're from Dungeon Bowl. That's how I remember them.
Same here. I believe they're also in Blood Bowl 2.
Yeah. I think they're scattered throughout.
That's true. It's just a good name.
But yeah, it's a great name for an elf team.
But they're not from Celeste.
But they're Celestial Comets.
I know, but I'm saying it doesn't fit your criteria. They're not from Celeste.
You guys think that's my criteria. My criteria is area or town. There could be an area called the Celestial whatever, mountains or whatever.
So
you guys take it way
fits as long as you like it, you'll make the fluff fit.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
You guys are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible people. These guys, they incorporated, which I thought was kind of neat, the teleporters from Dungeon Bowl into the fields that have the trapdoors now.
I think that's very cool. It is interesting that there's a catcher on here called Lonell Swift.
Well, it's got to be related.
You would think so.
So, yeah, that was neat.
They don't mention it, but I would assume he is.
What is a delver? Diggers? Like they dig? Because they talk about how they were playing against a team called the Darkholm Delvers.
Yeah, you're delving into something, so you're digging.
Okay.
I haven't heard it used that way, but I'm sure that works.
Not both down approved, because I don't like it. I can give you another reason, but that's the real one.
I don't care.
Then we have the Chaos All-Stars.
With Morgenthorg, the Ballista.
So I thought this was cool that they included him on it. Most of this is...
You know what my favorite part about him?
What?
Is his position.
Just Morgenthorg. ...
Morgenthorg. Well, okay, good point.
What I hate about this, and I don't know why they did it. One...
Dirty Dan?
No, Dirty Dan was a part of it. They don't have Xynox on here, which was the Minotaur. But they probably were going for 12 players.
They don't have a Minotaur model. We've stated previously that this is to be made up of models that exist.
You say that.
100% I do.
There's no Dark Elf lineman model?
Is there a Dark Elf on this team?
Yes, number 12. Renegade Dark Elf lineman.
Oh, there's a Dark Elf star player who you can use.
Who?
Hubris.
They don't have that model out.
Do they not?
Not through Forge World. Do they?
Do they not?
Dude.
No, they don't. You're right.
Okay. So,
okay, fine.
at first,
You're right. I don't
honestly,
know.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Is like they don't have an official Minotaur, which was actually one of the previewed models was a
It
Minotaur.
was. That's right. Yes.
That's one we forgot. That's what I thought.
And he looked really cool.
What I don't understand more than anything, and this is second edition guy, the Dark Elf that you could have for Chaos All-Stars back then was a Dark Elf catcher named Laxon Hurl. This guy's name is Diessa the Vein or something like that.
So, yeah, but do you see his skills?
Stab.
Oh, is that stab? Oh, that is stab.
Yeah. Animosity and stab.
I thought it said star.
Oh.
I was like, what's a star?
Well, once again, the font is a little hard to read.
Thessia the Vein.
So I'm just curious why they changed that. No big deal.
Was it from that year that he played?
Yes, this is the year that Laxon Hurl should be on the team.
Huh. Don't know.
No idea. But maybe they wanted more of an assassin type guy versus a Dark Elf catcher. No idea.
I'm sure.
Sure, they have their own reasonings. What I don't get is why there's a dwarf on this page.
Oh, that's a good point.
Artwork-wise, yeah. I just don't get it. But they didn't ask me, so whatever.
That's a very good point.
This is a really cool kind of special rule to show how dominant Morg is. When he's on the field and you're within, I think it's 3 squares of him, you lose animosity, basically. So he
That's pretty neat.
You don't let your little petty misunderstandings happen around Morg. You play along because Morg will kick your ass.
Oh, he will kill you.
Right. Pretty neat, though. And then finally we have the Underworld Creepers from the 2478 squad. And a lot of these names are right out of the second edition book. At least most of them, like Garbage Throttle Snot, Slasher Balrim,
Race O'Bunion.
Race O'Bunion. I believe he was the 3-legged guy, though, in second edition who had kick.
That's why he has sure feet now.
And he's faster, though, so they kind of changed that, which is funny because in second edition, when you got the 3rd leg, you weren't as fast because you were clopping around like a tripod.
Makes sense.
So, kind of neat. Fat Blaine...
Brain Splitter? Brain Splatter?
Yeah, Fat Brain Splatter. He was the Skaven guy who was obese in second edition. That was his mutation.
What I love is that they are using Grograt Crunch Skull.
Love this. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Is a second ed troll model, the one that holds the skull.
And, yes, he was a star player that came in. I don't know if he was in the
I think he was in the Star Player book.
Not in the Star Player book.
Was it not?
The companion. I'm sorry, the Star Player, the red one. What's the red one? Oh, that's the companion.
Yeah.
He was in the Star Player companion, I believe, or a White Dwarf. Can't remember. There were 6 of them that were in a White Dwarf as well.
Yeah. White Dwarves have a lot.
But yes, he's that model that's holding the skull. I think it's really cool that they incorporated him. Even if they're never going to use him as a star player again, they say, like, this guy used to exist. Mm-hmm. And at one time he was a star player, and he was a badass, and here he is. What I don't like is, this isn't being Mr. Nitpicky, Split Tendon Cutter used to be the team captain. Why he's number 10 now, I don't know. Drives me nuts. No, I don't know if he was a team captain. Maybe he was number 2. Anyways, Split Tendon Cutter did not have Claw or Mighty Blow in second edition.
Here they put all the positions together.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Head coach, Lance Fleshbarb.
I believe that's the same, too. They have a special rule where they get in fist fights in the dugout, and the crowd loves it, and you can get re-rolls off of that. It's pretty neat. But that's kind of covers all the little famous teams. What's really cool about this, and I'm going to give hats off to Brian Mitchell Extreme over at the Zlerpcast podcast. He's doing a tournament based off the available famous teams.
Yeah, that's
from
awesome.
the books, and I don't even think it's a national sanctioned tournament. I think it's come play in my garage and let's drink some beer and have fun. But everybody you had to apply for the position to get into the tournament, and they have to make a team with matching team colors. Like, they're all making 8 new teams.
You have to model them correctly, match the colors.
You know, numbers and everything.
Yeah.
And when I first heard this, I was like, dude, I'm so jealous. I wanted to do this. And I was like, okay, I don't have the commitment to make a new team up like you do.
I don't have the ability to.
Well,
I would love to.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 3 months building and painting models to use at one tournament. But it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, it really is.
Hats off to all those guys who are participating in that tournament.
and hopefully he'll take a lot of photos so we can see.
The back of the book also has all the star players and the official teams as came out with the latest rules, not the PDFs online. So we have 11 teams officially?
I think so.
And then all the star players as came out up to this point.
In the very back cover, we have more painted players, goblins, and the troll and the death roller.
Correct.
The page right before that I thought was interesting. We have 2 little rotters that are fans.
Yeah, that's a cute little drawing.
So I wonder if that's a hint for the next book.
And we're going to see Nurgle?
Yeah.
But we've already had Nurgle.
Yeah, but, I mean, maybe they would have, not next book, but next team or something. I guess next team is the elves, but I don't know. It's probably nothing.
It could be fanatics, though, it could be extra rules of
Could be.
characters in the or it could be nothing. But
Probably just nothing, yeah.
Overall, I didn't like that the book was a little bit more expensive because I only walked into the store with $25 like the last book,
Yeah.
and then it was more, so I just didn't plan for it. I know it's more pages.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So I'm cool with that.
I hate very few little changes. I don't like that dwarf cheerleader or the Norse cheerleader, whatever she is.
There's things I don't
That's pretty
like,
much
but
it.
there's more I do like.
Oh, absolutely. Love the
There's
fluff.
been
love
some
the
people online who
art.
say the book's rubbish or whatever. It's I got a lot of, even if I don't use these rules.
Yeah.
Let's say our next League with Friends that we play in our kitchen table, I just used the CRP. Mm-hmm. I'm still glad I bought this book.
Yeah.
I'm still glad I read it.
Someone was complaining, I paid this much for just 2 new teams. I'm like, okay, well, you also got the star players and the backgrounds and the teams of legends and the full list of skills, and I'm a fan. I'm really enjoying it. We do nitpick things, but that's just because we nitpick with love. We want things to be better, things we care about. You don't hear us coming on talking about crappy podcasts and how they should be better because we don't care.
Speaking of, no.
No.
Overall, I'm very satisfied with this. I did not buy the Goblin team. Did you buy the Goblins?
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, anything that comes out in the store, I'm buying to support the store because he's supporting our league. Our league's been going pretty strong. We're there every Wednesday. We get to take up a whole room, no questions asked. Don't have any issue with that. And I'm an idiot and just want to have stuff.
Sure.
So, new stuff through the store, I'm buying. I'm leaving unopened because I don't need those things. I have a Skaven team. I have a Dwarf team. I have a Goblin team.
So do you like them more now that you have them in hand? I know you haven't built
What's that?
them, the Goblins.
I would have to see them.
The design is growing on me, but I'm going to tell you, I don't see goblins.
No.
I see hobgoblins, and I know they're not even hobgoblins.
I don't know. I see Noblars.
Which I know is cutting hairs on different type of goblin races, right?
I don't know. To me, I don't know anything about Warhammer. Straight out, I'm a Blood Bowl player.
But
I
isn't
don't
a
know
Nobbler
jack about-
a
But when I was looking,
different creature in
Yeah.
40K or something?
when I was looking for inspiration for my ogre team, I came across I was trying to do some type of funny name for the team.
Right.
And I was looking for cool little mascots or something, and I saw Noblars. And Noblars are blue-skinned goblin-type creatures with big noses. That's about as much information as I could find, is that they're blue and they have big noses. Mm-hmm. So that's what differentiated them from regular goblins.
Okay, well, these definitely have big, giant
And
noses.
all of these have giant noses. And it's not... They don't even look like goblins. They look like goblins wearing fake noses.
I can see that.
And I'm okay with it. And it's different. And I guess it's been consistent. So this is just what they are now. That's fine.
Sure.
It'll take me some getting used to. But I still think of Noblars when I see them.
I see the box set, and I'm like, I don't really want to buy them because I already have a goblin team. But I want to buy them because I could use them maybe as hobgoblins if I came up with a different dwarf team.
I think they would make very cool hobgoblins for a Chaos Dwarf
Because
team.
I have those Chaos Dwarves 2nd edition that I want to use even though I don't need to. I was thinking about buying these to be the hobgoblins. I'm going to wait till I see some in person so I can kind of match them up scale-wise. I don't care if they're off a lot, but I don't want the hobgoblins to be twice as big as the dwarves.
That's a team that I could legitimately see me buying at some point in the future and modding just to play around with.
Sure.
The problem with that is the armor they have doesn't really seem to allow that much because they're always going to be armored goblins. Mm-hmm. They're not goofy goblins.
Right.
And there's not a whole lot of goofy in the new Blood Bowl.
That's just a different take.
Yeah. It's much more serious, much more sports-oriented. And there's randomness, there's a little chaos, there's a little bit of goofy, but there's not a ton of goofy, if that makes sense.
Well, the art direction to me is totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Before you had Pete Nifton and I believe the last guy's, what's the other guy's name? I can't, not off the top of my head, but it was definitely a more goofy, not so serious sport. Mm-hmm. While this talks about that in the fluff, the pictures look totally different. Yeah,
but the style is very consistent with the Blood Bowl video game and the Blood Bowl card game,
sure,
etc.
What else? That's all right.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad there wasn't any major changes to the game itself. You know, the 2 roster changes are not big. They don't break either one. And both teams suck to begin with.
Well,
you're not going to win a tournament with goblins, even though we saw someone win Spiky Cup with goblins. Almost. Yeah. But that's a weird tournament.
I still feel like I'm fine with it. I'll adapt because I love Blood Bowl. I'll learn to like it. But it does feel like there's just changes to make it new. This is our take on it, so now we have an orc. Or this is our take, so we're going to put a goblin hooligan in there.
I don't think that's the case because they didn't do that with all the teams, though.
I look at it 2 different ways. If I was a company who's bringing back a game that's been dead for 10 years, I'm going to add stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want Steve Campbell or Scott Prime to buy it because they don't have those rules yet. So I understand from all points of view. I'm never going to get this, but I would love just a little message that says, we were told to add a few things or do what we want. And this is what we feel is best. You know, and then I can go, okay.
I firmly believe, after talking with people involved in the game, that they are doing what they think is best for the game. And they're making changes to rosters that are legitimately lower-end rosters. But they're not groundbreaking. They just add for a little bit more flexibility.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm just scared that let's say the next supplement has halflings in it. Halflings, elves.
But let's get away from that argument because we had the same worry before Blood Bowl came out. We had the same worry before Death Zone 2 came out. It's been proven wrong on both accounts that they're going to screw stuff up. So let's just get to the point where we give them the benefit of the doubt, and we can still hope that nothing gets screwed up. I don't see that ever happening.
Okay.
Yeah, if they come out and go, hey, here's a brand new untested Orc Renegade roster, go figure it out.
That might be my biggest concern because there's ways to get things play tested over time.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they've been play tested over time. And it's really none of my business really either. It's either I can buy it or I don't. But
I've talked to a playtester. They've put a lot of time into this stuff, and there's not any issues.
Okay.
And my concern, the only way I would be concerned about any race at all, period, is Slann. If they decide to do anything, they would take Slann and change it into something different. Whether that be Kislev, like they're doing for
the video game, which is the circus acrobats.
Yeah. Or they just decide to make it a goblin circus. Or they decide to make it a whole team of wizards or something. As long as they don't screw up the roster, I'm fine with that. And even if they make some little changes, Slann with a little bit of changes could be game-breaking. So that is a worry, but I don't see any indication that we have to worry about that.
All right. Well, that wraps that up, folks. We're thumbs up.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Thumbs up overall?
Buy it, enjoy it. If you do any of the optional rules, let us know what you think.
Definitely. I would love to hear somebody with a smaller league that said, yeah, we tried stadiums out. They were awesome, or it was too convoluted, a lot of paperwork. We decided not to do it.
Yeah.
So if you have any of that,
Hey.
let us know.
We're going to wrap up and come back with shout-outs. Yay!
Stagecoach rolled over your foot?
Make a claim with SIG.
Dared to eat a pie at a Rotters game?
Make a claim with SIG.
Got talked into joining a cult, attempted to rise up and overthrow civilization, got defeated by a ragtag bunch of heroes during a climactic battle on the slopes of an active volcano, fled into the Badlands as your army crumbled around you, struggled to find stable employment ever since?
Make a claim with SIG.
Hi there, this is Snively Goldpinch from Star Insurance Guild. Is your team taking on one too many deaths here and there? That's what you get us for. You pay your insurance match by match, and we'll make sure that if someone dies, you get a payout.
Make a claim with SIG.
Can't afford to rehire a war dancer? Get SIG. Triads making it hard for you to steal dead bodies? Get SIG. If you're a werewolf and it's not a full moon, you might want to get SIG. Star Insurance Guild has been providing insurance since 2421. So find your local provider, and if there's any problems, what's that, girls?
Make a claim with SIG.
That's right.
We're legally required to tell you that filing any claims may make any contracts null and void.
Okay, so we're back, and I guess just move into outshouts.
Outshouts!
Okay, just wondering if that would work.
Shout-outs!
Sounds better that way, honestly. So do you have anything before I get into the
I'd like to remind everybody that Spiky 5.5 is coming up June 24th at Wizards Asylum. You can go over to bothdown.com. There's a little blurb of it over there, so you can download the rules. Somebody was asking me about it. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember what the rules were. I know you're doing crazy rules.
Yeah, I have
different rules for each round, and I don't even know if you remember. But
I do. I have it written down.
Okay.
But
it's a secret.
yeah, I'm implementing every previous Spiky Cup in some aspect.
Okay.
So I don't remember what the build
We
was.
don't have the rules in front of us, folks, and we're ready to wrap this up. So, anyways, just
sure
a
you're sick
reminder
of
to come
hearing
on
this.
out. It's just 3 rounds, correct?
Yeah.
It's a 3-round tournament. Come out, have some fun. Travel in if you travel in. We're gonna be around to play board games and stuff at night, or hang out, and go eat, whatever.
Yeah, Dustin.
Yeah, let's play some board games.
Dustin.
Yeah, it's some Dustin. More Dustin.
I want to give a shout out to Darren Pullman or Coach Stampa. He wanted me to give a shout out to all of his buddies at the Mead and Mayhem League, which is found at mmlpro.com.
Don't they do a podcast?
It's a PS4 league for Blood Bowl 2, and they do a podcast called MML Pro. Now, I remember them posting something a long time ago about the podcast starting, and I looked for it, could never find it, so I assumed it wasn't put out for mass consumption. I thought it was just like a local one that they did. Mm-hmm. And then he mentioned it, and I'm like, wait, does that still exist? So I went out and finally found it. It's under MML Pro. You have to look for that. You can't look for Mead and
Mayhem.
Mayhem. I think you want to say Mayhem at Monsters.
So it's another Blood Bowl podcast that's not really tabletop oriented. It's specifically to their league.
It's
PS4.
specifically their league. It does talk a lot about their league, but they do have coaches from the league come on and talk about different things.
That's cool.
I've listened to a couple and I've enjoyed it, so I don't have any real issue with it.
That's awesome.
But so give them a look. If you play on PS4, there's probably an equivalent of something elsewhere. I don't know.
Well, it's nice to have more Blood Bowl podcasts out there since so many of them have kind of died over the last 2 years.
Yeah, it happens.
There's only a few that make it.
Not everybody can be as awesome as we are.
No, there's star players, and then there's journeymen. So,
jeez, it's bad.
is that bad?
No, it's not bad. But anything else? We don't have any reviews. People, nobody likes to use iTunes, which I can't fault. I don't go onto iTunes. I have Android.
You know what's funny is we ask for reviews all the time on iTunes, and then I listen to other podcasts, and they ask for the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I always think, I'm going to review them when I get home, because I do like their podcast, and I know how this feels. And then I get home, and I don't do it.
Well, I think to myself, I do it at work when I'm goofing off, but I don't have an easy way to do it.
Well,
I don't even know how to. I think I have to log into iTunes to do it.
You do.
So I don't know. Whatever. You can also find us on Facebook and everything.
But we'll
we don't
still
care.
gladly take your reviews, and we'll read your shout-outs.
We passed 600 likes on Facebook.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
How many more is that than, like, another Blood Bowl podcast?
500 and some. 83.
Wow.
No. Depends on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Do we have more than 3 Dot Brawl?
I think they still have more than us.
Oh, come on, people.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. Who would you rather go out to dinner with?
And
Chance and Drew or me and Steve? Who's going to be more real?
Well, Chance is a vegetarian. They have 684.
Oh, see, we're close. We're closing in.
What sucks is we had a Facebook before they did.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I guess we're not closing in. I guess they've just surpassed us.
Well, they've been around longer.
Hats off, fellas.
They're clean.
Yeah, well, you
People
know what?
like 'em.
You get the real us every podcast. Some days we cuss, some days we don't. That's how we are in real life. Those guys are living a lie.
Yeah, if you haven't heard or seen, we were on the Okie Geek podcast, which is at Okie Geek, OKIEGEEK.com, I think.
Right.
But we went over there, had an interview with them, and one of the guys was listening. He's like, so I listened to some of the earlier ones, and then listened to some later ones, and the later ones are much better. I go, yeah, we just stopped being fake. I mean,
Right.
like, well, that's probably good, you know.
Of course it's good. Got to just be who you are.
Yeah. We tried to be clean for a while. It didn't last.
And I don't really go out of my way most of the time. I
No.
guess.
But if I want to say someone's a dick, they're a dick. They're not a turd. They're not a jerk face. Not an ass hat. Although I do like saying ass hat.
That's a good one.
Ass hat's my new favorite.
That's good. I don't have any more shout-outs either at the moment.
Okay. Hopefully everyone's doing well on their weight challenges.
Oh, I do have one.
Okay.
Doug Saunders, he's from the Las Vegas crew over there with Mark Perry. Mm-hmm. He's a big fan of the podcast, so a big shout-out to Doug. I'm sorry, I almost forgot you. He enjoys our segments where we talk about some fumbles sometimes and stuff like that. So
Yeah, Doug hates us, apparently.
yeah, that's fine. We're just kind of trolling on him. Oh, you can hate us all you want. I still like your little pro wrestling themed team there in your face.
Just out of nowhere. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well. We'll have a better check-in at Chaos Cup. I don't know.
Chaos Cup? You're going to Amorical Cup, fool.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that's when the year ends for checking in with everybody for patches or something. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
The health challenge.
Oh.
24.
Yeah, the patches that
Talk
I keep
about
talking.
doing something.
I know, it's been a year and I haven't done anything.
Yeah, well, anyways. I will be at Amorical Cup. Scott is not going.
Not going.
I will be there with a different Scott, so that is not the same Scott.
Not at all.
If there is something from the Both Down shop you would like me to bring with me, go ahead and make an order and use the coupon code Amorical. It cancels out the shipping, and then I can just pack it up and bring it with me. But I am taking off Wednesday, and this is probably coming out Wednesday. So never mind about that. You had your chance. If you're at Amorical Cup, I do have some stuff with me. But
You should have said nothing. Then you could have said, oh, man, I'm sorry, man. I forgot about that. I'll just ship it to you.
I could do that.
And then we lose money.
But I will have some stuff with me. I don't believe I'm going to have the ability to set up a table, but that's fine. And if you need anything, just find me.
You ready to drink a lot of beer there? I heard it's in a brewery.
Yeah, it's a brewery. I'm ready to play a lot of pinball.
And you get a big glass, right?
Get a glass that I'm hoping they can fill with water, so that'll be fine.
You guys should have fun.
Yeah, it should be fun.
And then I'm off to
3-die brawl.
The 3-die brawl with the girlfriend, and we're going to see how many people get annoyed that she's there at the tournament since she plays very slow. She's going to play, supposedly still, so.
No, she enjoys herself. That's all that matters.
Yep. She's taking dwarves, so she can smash people's face in.
So then that means...
I still don't know what I'm going to take.
We might be a little late on the next episode. Because it's not going to be
But this one's going to be early, so...
We try to do everything by the 15th, but we're also just doing stuff whenever we want to give you more content.
We're more consistent than most.
Oh, yeah.
So
we're more than consistent. We do more than monthly.
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
guess.
Anything else, Steve?
No, that's really it.
All right, folks. You guys have a nice, wonderful time. And all the people who are going to Amorical Cup, very much safe travels. Take care of my little Kilowog Ginger Badger here, because he's going to be at a tournament without me, and I know he suffers dearly when I'm not around to guide him or to like give him a focus to babysit when I get drunk.
But I lose Loner, so that's good.
But he does lose Loner, which means that he's much more approachable when I'm not around. So
I'll have Michael Lewis with me, and Scott Hess, and Joe Roberts.
Right, so you get to babysit Scott Hess.
Nope, not at all. He is on his own.
You guys should have a lot of fun, though.
Okay.
Anyways, safe travels, everybody. Good luck.
See ya.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at Fat Finley, FATFINLEY, and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you want to know if your team name is Both Down approved, send a tweet to @BDapproved. If you'd like to email them, the email address is bothdownpodcast@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or at facebook.com/bothdown.
Hey guys, Skittle Step here from McMurdy's. Yeah, they paid me to come back and do the commercial, so here I am. Yeah, they got a new sandwich. It's gonna be really good. It's a Warpstone burger. They're made with 100% Warpstone mutants, so it's gotta be good. So go to your local McMurdy's today and stab someone. Stab. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm stabbing it.